Ayan, good afternoon everyone and welcome to another edition of HR Cafe, Usapang Trabaho, Buhay at Iba Pa. Ang atin pong weekly Sunday tambayan para sa ating mga HR professionals. We're currently streaming live at the Philippines HR Group Facebook group for Philippine HR professionals, largest Facebook group for all of the Philippine HR professionals. We're also streaming it at the HR Cafe Facebook page as well as sa ating pong channel sa YouTube. So kung kayo po ay gusto yung maka-catch up sa mga ating mga previous na HR Cafe po, you can actually head to our YouTube channel. Search nyo lang po siya kay YouTube and you will see past episodes of HR Cafe. Ayan. So again, magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat at isa na naman pong napakagandang balitaktakan na mangyayari sa atin ngayong hapon na ito. Medyo kulang lang po tayo right now dahil medyo busy ang ating mga kasamahan sa hanap buhay. But of course, let us introduce ang ating pong mga iba pang cafe servers. We have our pinakamamahal nating si Coach Darwin Rivers. Coach Darwin has been in the HR professional for quite some time now. He is a multi-awarded HR executive with more than 20 years of progressive leadership and management experience, having worked with a number of top Fortune 500 multinational companies. He is also the founder and president of Philippines HR Group, the largest FB group for Philippine HR professionals. He's a certified life coach, public speaker, motivational speaker, and HR consultant. Of course, we also have our mentor John Bernard Ordonez Kaasi or Mentor Ben Burns. He is an HR L&D practitioner and educator, an online content creator and social media influencer. He is a known radio broadcaster and creator of Unboxing Catholicism podcast and FB Live. So si Mentor Burns po actually has a Facebook page for Unboxing Catholicism. So if you're interested in that, you can search it sa ating pong Facebook. He's also a motivational speaker and a financial wellness consultant. And of course, nandyan din po ang ating mentor, Tina Coang. Mentor Tina, as we fondly call her, is an operations and HR leader with broad local and overseas experience. She's the general manager for a retail company and is widely known for her very popular blog, which is tinainmanila.com. If you're looking for reference materials or you have questions about yung latest DOLE issuances or questions about handling of separation pay, pwede ba ako mag-resign kagad-kagad? Naku, takbo po kayo sa tinainmanila.com. Nandun po makikita nyo ang kasagutan sa karamihan ng inyong mga katanungan. And of course, I would like to introduce myself. I am Mentor Rona Florentino. I've been an HR professional for more than 2 decades now. I am currently the president and CEO of Uprush Social Geeker, an HR solutions and services provider. I am also a public speaker and an HR consultant. Yan. So ngayon po ay makikita nyo kaming dalawa po muna ni Mentor Tina habang ating pong mga kasamahan sa hanap buhay ay meron pong mga errands na ginagawa for today. Now, if it's your first time joining us here in HR Cafe, sino nga ba si HR Cafe? HR Cafe is your weekly Sunday tambayan for timely news and updates when it comes to HR at para sa pag-handle po ng mga empleyado. Our aim is to impart knowledge and experience that are value-adding and beneficial to you both as an HR professional and as an employee, discuss problems, issuances, or issues and challenges, and provide answers and resolutions with the help of our guest resource, discuss any new technology, tools, and processes, as well as industry best practices para naman po sa ating mga HR professionals. We also do have a virtual job board and we do job related announcements. So if ever you do have any job openings, please reach out to us and we will have those job openings posted and discussed during our HR Cafe. So send nyo lang po sa amin kung ano yung gusto nyo ipa-announce ng mga job openings that you have and then we'll post it here. It's also our aim to bridge understanding between employers and employees as well as provide inspiration and motivation to our HR professionals and our workforce. Ayan po. Ngayon po, kung kayo po ay nakatambay na po, please make sure that you comment in the comment section kung saan po kayo nanonood right now. Tag your friends para naman po ma-share natin ang mga learnings natin with them. Ayan. So bago po tayo mag-proceed sa ating wow quote for the week, meron po tayong mga early birds. Good afternoon po kay Miss Mirna Cabantog, watching from Balagtas, Bulacan. Good afternoon din, Miss Mary Ann. Another 1 week again. Miss you all. Yes, miss din po namin kayo. Good afternoon to Michelle Delfinado, isa po sa ating mga regular tambays. Good afternoon, Coach Rona, and to one of my favorite blogger, Miss Tina. Good afternoon to Ace Turquesa. Bri Gonzalez is watching from Tarlac City. Melita Adlaon, happy Sunday to all. We also have a few Facebook users here. Medyo hindi lang po namin kita yung names, but I think Mentor Tina is already checking yung inyo po mga comments. Good afternoon. We have one watching from Mandaluyong and another one from Cagayan de Oro City, Mindanao. Ayan. So ang ating pong wow quote for the week, if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. Yan po ang sabi ni John Quincy Adams. Ngayon, what do you think about this wow quote for the week and how does this resonate with you? Ano ang interpretation niyo sa kanya? Ano ang pagkakaintindi niyo? At ano ang impact niya sa inyo? Pakilagay po yan sa ating comment section. At habang nilalagay niyo po yan sa comment section, Mentor Tina, ano po ang masasabi mo sa ating wow quote for the week?
Well, good and wonderful Sunday. It's a pleasure for me to be with you guys. Nagkakape tayo at the HR Cafe. With regards to the wow quote of the week, we always believe kasi that that we cannot be leaders ourselves. A lot of us are happy and are comfortable in just being a follower. And when people give us the responsibility and offer us the opportunity to lead, we're often the first people to say, ay, hindi, wag na lang ako, bakit hindi na lang siya? But the good thing is right now, and we strongly encourage is that guys, you are in HR. You are HR practitioners. You are in a department wherein you have to be in contact with other departments. Ikaw po yung spine na nagko-connect sa lahat ng tao sa isang organization. So even if you're just an HR clerk or HR officer, please do not demean yourself. It is our job to lead. So in order for us to lead, what should we do? So ang sinasabi nga nila is, if you have to learn more first, right? Ang hirap kasing mag-lead pero hindi ka naman nag-e-effort para mag-aral. So mga taong nanonood sa HR Cafe, this is one way for you to learn na hindi na kayo kailangan magbayad. But beyond the HR Cafe, open your eyes kasi your job will offer you a lot of learning opportunities pa lang, lalo na pag namumblema tayo sa trabaho. Like for example, maraming nagtatanong, paano po magbayad sa SSS? Right? But the thing is, instead of just asking people how to pay, why don't you go and actually take action and pay for it? Kasi it is through doing it that we learn best. So as we say, our actions must inspire others. And once na marunong ka ng gumawa, share that knowledge naman to other people. Right? Pero kung tayo, kasi napapansin ko, marami nagtatanong sa PHRG, ma'am, bago lang ako. What can I do to learn? Well, why don't we do our job? Kasi talaga, if you're doing payroll, you're remitting benefits, you're actually engaging with your employees, issuing NTEs, yung making sure that you doing your job pretty much, then it is really, you are actually becoming a leader already. Kasi you know what you are doing. Pero kung hanggang basa lang tayo sa libro, tanong lang tayo sa group, or panonood lang tayo ng free webinars, hindi talaga tayo matututo. So, kailangan talaga if you want to learn, you also must do. And when you do more, then you become a leader in your own right. All right? So, Coach Rona, your thoughts about this?
Ako palagi ko naiisip kasi we also have this in Philippines HR group. We have people who tell us na they can't do anything because they don't have the title. Guys, you don't need the title in order to lead, in order to inspire, in order to move people. Now, two things that I'd want to emphasize here. Being a leader doesn't equate to being a manager. You can be a leader without being a manager. Okay? Because the function of a leader is to inspire. The function of the manager is planning, leading, organizing, coordinating, communicating, and things like that. Okay? A manager needs to be a leader, but a leader doesn't have to be a manager in order to move people. They inspire with their actions. And I agree very much with what Mentor Pina has mentioned. If you would want to inspire people, if you want to motivate them, to move them, to get them to be better versions of themselves, you also need to be a better version of yourself. You also need to learn things. You also need to make sure that you understand what you are doing. Kasi if you are also the type of person who doesn't know how to do the basics, how can you inspire people? How can you move them? If ikaw din mismo, hindi mo alam yung gagawin. You cannot inspire people if you are also unsure of what you should
Mm.
do. So HR people, always research, research, research. Mapapansin yan sa Philippines HR group. We have members na minsan nagre-reklamo na parang spoon feeding na to. The that concern is to some point it's valid. We have to understand that we have all of this technology with us right at our fingertips. Diba? You can search online paano ba mag-file ng SSS. You can search,
Mm.
you can Google. Si SSS nga mismo, they already have this
Mm.
online learning platform where you can learn about the different processes, procedures with SSS. They offer online seminars,
Mm.
in-depth seminars. So, hindi natin pwedeng sabihin na, kasi may bayad yung mga training, kaya hindi ako
Mm.
makapag-aral. Hindi rin natin pwedeng sabihin na, sasagutin naman yan ng mga nandun sa group, sa Philippines HR group. True, they can answer your question. But wouldn't it be more meaningful if you were able to find it on your own and you were able to study it on your own, understand it, get all of the basics, and then if there are certain portions that you do not understand, that's the only time you ask. Because when you do that, your question is now more of an intelligent question
Mm.
rather than a question that can be easily answered with
By Google.
all of these things, diba? Within Google, within online, diba? We have to do that. We cannot always say na wala akong access, wala akong access. You want to inspire people, then inspire yourself. What should I do? If this is the situation, what should I do? Lagi natin sinasabi yan. Check nyo muna. Check all your available resources. Huwag takbo kagad sa, uy, may Philippines HR group. Tanong ko nga doon. Uy, may sasagot naman sa akin si Coach Tina or si Mentor Tina. May sasagot naman sa akin sila Sir Darwin. May sasagot naman doon sa Philippines HR group. Post ko kagad yung question ko doon. Sa totoo lang, matatawa ko minsan, some of the questions that I see in Philippines HR group na hindi na na-approve. Someone would post, hindi po ako pinusweldo nung Saturday. Dapat Saturday po sweldo namin. What should I do? Talk to payroll, talk to your HR, hindi namin masasagot yan. You want to inspire people, look for the answers yourselves first, inspire yourself, do more what you can do right now. And when you're able to go through these challenges, that's when you can inspire other people. Ayan. And when you inspire other people, of course, you are allowing them to get motivated by what you have accomplished on your own. Dun mas nai-inspire ang mga tao, and then you can lead them. Diba? Ayan. So bago po tayo pumunta do sa ating susunod na question, syempre meron po tayo iba pang mga nakiki-good afternoon sa ating comment section. Good afternoon to Miss Shenchen Fulgencio. Good afternoon, Mitch De Castro. Mitch has actually tagged her teammate ata ito, Kevin Aprado. Good afternoon to you both. Coach Darwin is also in our comment section. Hello from Tagaytay, Woman Power for today's episode. Ayan. At syempre, di ba, pati ang ating guest speaker ay part ng ating Woman Empowerment. Ayan. Good afternoon din po kay Miss Mary Jane Retig from Binondo, Manila. Mary Jane is actually one of our usual tambays po dito sa ating HR Cafe. Good afternoon as well to Miss Judy Ann Marquinez. So let us know what you think of our wow quote for the week. Are you lacking inspiration? Do you want to be a leader? Do this the things that we mentioned, and you would find yourself motivated. You would be able to lead other people. Remember, you don't need job titles. You don't need to be called a manager, an officer, a supervisor in order to be a leader. Mapapansin niyo yan sa opisina ninyo. There will be someone in your office who doesn't have the title. Could be someone na assistant now or associate or specialist. But people go to that person because they know that person knows how to handle things. That is a leader. Okay, at syempre pa, ang ating pong question for the week. What should HR do if escalation is from a member of management? Naku, si HR in-escalate sa management. So ano ba ang dapat nating gawin? Mentor Tina, what do you think po? What should we do if there's an escalation from a member of management regarding HR?
Uso na ngayon yan because of COA. Okay? Okay, sa akin lang is that an HR officer must always do their best and to do what is right. If there is any escalation from management, treat it as if it is in any other escalation with anybody else. What you should do is you document it and actually investigate whether it is true or not. You really have to deal with it. I've received, 'di ba, ang trending ngayon ng reports is because of COA. COA is issuing a lot of preliminary findings that there is some corruption daw in our government. Now, it is okay for people to complain about your performance. What is better and more important is how you react to it. For example, 'di ba? Regarding today, trending naman today is yung laban ni Senator Pacquiao. Instead of nagalit, instead of nagyabang, instead of sabihin, ay hindi, swerte lang talaga tong tao to kaya nanalo to. Our senator actually won the battle by losing gracefully. So if anybody complains about your performance, regardless of what position you have, you also must be graceful, stay objective, and most importantly, huwag kang mapikon sa tao na nag-escalate sa'yo. Remember, it is more of a reflection of your own character that's more important. Kasi kahit na maraming nagreklamo tungkol sa'yo, time will tell kung totoo po yung sinasabi nila or hindi. So, ang kailangan natin is to stay calm, investigate, put some time on to see if it's really true or not. And pag hindi totoo, hindi ikaw yung mapapahiya, pero yung mga taong nag-e-escalate tungkol sa'yo, right? Yung mga tao na nagsasabi ng mali, gumagawa ng kwento, you will be vindicated afterwards. But if you're the HR and you react angrily and unprofessionally, yun yung inaantay ng mga enemies mo. Doon ka sasablay. Not because there is an issue of your performance, but because your reaction is overblown. So always stay professional.
True, true, true. Naku po. Tandaan po natin ha. Kasi minsan din iniisip natin, naku HR ako, bawal ako magkamali. Nagkakamali din tayo. We can't help
Yes.
that. There are times that we really make mistakes. And we just need to make sure that it doesn't happen again. But it's a way of
Yes.
life. We make mistakes. If you haven't made any mistake, di ba, paano ka matututo? Mistakes is a way for us to learn. Now, if you made a mistake, own up to it. That's one of the things that you need to happen. Okay? Kahit ano pa yan, gaano kalaki, gaano kaliit, if you made a mistake, own up to your mistakes. Mistakes have happened to me in the past, and the first thing that I did was call up my boss, tell my boss that I made a mistake, and tell my boss what I intend to do after that mistake. Now, in-escalate ka, don't overreact. That's part of the risk of our profession. Will get escalated every now and then because people don't understand how we work, what we do, and what are the things that we need to aim for. Okay, taking care of the business, things like that. They don't see that. Okay, and we don't have to show it to them. We don't have to explain it to them. Let it be. Kung nireklamo ka, let it be. If you are sure that you did not do anything wrong, then let you kung ano man yung grievance procedure nyo or disciplinary action nyo, let it take its natural course, di ba? Usually naman yan, if you were the one who's escalated, hindi ikaw ang magha-handle niyan. Okay? Ang mag-handle niyan is somebody else on your team, or if you have your disciplinary committee, the disciplinary committee would handle that, or your immediate boss will handle that. Now, in some cases, your boss might be the kind of boss who is very understanding. Usually, kakausapin ka na lang yan. Second, third time, dyan ka palang i-disciplinary action. So, wag ka mataranta. Kung nagkamali ka at alam mong may mali ka, go ahead. Wala tayong magagawa. May mali ka eh. Accept the consequences of your mistakes. Now, if alam mong tama ka pero in-escalate ka pa rin, the more you should keep quiet. Huwag ka kagad magsasalita na, hindi, tama ako. 'Di ba? Anong 'di ba kayo din pag alam niyo naman 'yan, pag kunwari hindi naman kayo mali pero or yung kausap niyo hindi naman siya mali, pero masyado siyang defensive, 'di ba una yung ano kagad, ba't ka defensive? Same goes for you. The more defensive you are, the more you are showing na baka may point sila. So, let it go. Don't be defensive. Tama ang ginawa mo, pag pinatawag ka ng boss mo, explain. If your boss is a good boss, then your boss will understand. Now, if your boss doesn't understand or the disciplinary committee doesn't understand and there seems to be bias, yan, diyan ka na ngayon mag-isip. Is this a company that I would want to be associated with? Okay? If there is already a judgment even before you were able to explain yourself, is this the kind of company I would want to be with? Or how do I correct this situation moving forward so that this doesn't happen to me, to any other manager in the future? There is always one way, more than one way to skin the cat. In Tagalog, maraming solusyon sa problema, sa sitwasyon. There is always more than one way to approach a situation. Always keep that in mind. Hindi mo po pwedeng sabihin walang option, walang option. You always have the option. You can run away, face it, or stay still and let things run its course. Always. Okay? So, pag nireklamo ka, sa tingin mo tama ka, tapos nakita mo parang bias sila. Parang ayaw na talaga nila sa akin. Parang iniipit nila ako. Parang is a very, very dangerous word. You're assuming. You're not sure if that's really the situation. If you think na nararamdaman mo na talaga iniipit ka, hindi ka pa nakakapag-present, galit na sila sa'yo. Okay. How do I change this situation? I can change the situation. I can stay still and let things run its course. Or is this the company that I would want to be with? Yun lang yung tatanong niyo. Okay? But never yung tipo magpo-post ka pa sa Facebook, napaka-unfair ng boss ko. Don't do that. Don't do that. We are professionals. You don't have to do that. Okay? I've gone through a lot of this. I've worked with a number of companies. It has happened to me a couple of times, and the worst thing that I did siguro was nag-resign ako. Yun na yung pinaka-worst. Other than that, hayaan mo lang. Palagi ko yan, even with my staff, lagi ko sinasabi, hayaan nyo, hindi naman totoo hayaan nyo. Sayang energy. Huwag na natin patulan. Sayang energy. Ang dami nating gagawin, papatulan mo pa yan. Doon tayo sa gagawin natin. Diba? So, mas maganda yung ganun. So what about you guys? What do you think? What should HR do if the escalation is from the member of a management? Should you resign? Should you run away? Should you face it? Should you stay still? Should you post it in Facebook? Ano sa tingin nyo ang dapat gawin? Ayan. So lagay lang po doon sa ating comment section para po ating madiscuss yan. Grabe po talaga ang patience na ilalaan po natin sa trabaho natin. Sabi ni Miss Mary Jane Retig, true. We need to be very, very patient. Imagine niyo, kaya nga di ba sabi natin, HR is a vocation. Kasi let's say you have a workforce of about 300 headcount. That's 300 different personalities. If you don't have patience, susuko ka just sa 300 personalities na yan. Yan 300 personalities, those are individual personalities. They're different from each other. They understand things differently. So, kailangan talaga natin ng mahabang pasensya. Especially when the problem involves us. Okay? So, patience, stay still, stay calm. Walang magagawa pag kayo po ay nagalit kasi sayang lang ang energy nyo. Ayan. So again, mga comments po natin, wag pong kakalimutan. Yung unang question natin, what can you say about the wow quote for the week? And what can you say about the HR question for the week? How would you handle this if it's the management, a member of the management escalated you? Kayo as an HR, kayo mismo ang na-escalate, ano ang gagawin nyo? Okay? So ayan po, at syempre pa, hindi mawawala po ang ating mga updates. Mentor Tina, would you like to take the announcement from Dole regarding sa trending na topic natin ngayon pagdating po sa mga COA findings?
All right. Dole is adamant and is reassuring us that Dole is adhering to the pertinent rules and regulations sa pagdidisburse nila ng pera. Kasi a lot of people are thinking na ninakaw din ng Dole yung Dole camp kasi hindi daw sila nakakuha. Let me remind everyone, okay? During the time the Dole camp was disbursed, a lot of people actually did not apply for it. Kasi when it was first announced, everybody thought it was bogus, that the government would actually return 5,000 pesos per head. Because never has it been pa in 10 years or how many times na binalik ng pera ng Filipino government sa taong bayan. Even I at that time thought it was bogus. So a lot of people didn't apply for it. But we did, right? So after nag-apply nga, yung first round of those na nag-apply, nakakuha na approval ng Dole Camp. Nung nalaman ng Philippine HR Group most of them na talagang hindi legit pala yon and ganun lang pala kasimpleng mag-apply. Nag-apply na ang lahat. Second wave. Obviously, ubos yung pera. So that's what led it to the SBWS that came afterwards. Anyway, Dole is insisting that yung sinasabi, if ever there is any allegations na the money was not used properly, hindi just to wait for the proper findings kasi they have had the highest audit rating by the Commission on Audit for the year of 2019 and 2020. Right? So pagtingin mo, ang dole magnanakaw, naku, ang daming magnanakaw sa gobyerno. Dole is probably, I'm not saying they're clean, but I don't think that they stole it because really, sa totoo lang, a lot of people got the money directly. Pag sinabi, for example, ng tao, hindi, pumunta sa kumpanya namin tapos i-disperse sa tao. That's not true. Dole Camp went directly to the accounts of the employees, not the employer. Okay? Let's make it very clear, ha? So next. All right. So the issues daw that they are receiving excessive payments, denied claims, unclaimed assistance were already addressed through many multiple press releases. So if we want to look, pag maghahanap tayo ng fault with Dole, marami silang fault. Right? Minsan iba-iba yung kunikwento nila, sinasagot nila lalo na sa hotline nila. But I don't think Dole has a lot of money to steal. All right. So just a shout out to everybody who is watching. We do have Enrico Loren Boral who is watching from Mandaluyong. Micah Luis watching from Cagayan de Oro, Mindanao. Ethan Sarabia, happy Sunday watching from Tagaytay and supporting Kit and Darwin. So ang tanong naman dito is Prince King Seville. True, pumunta po talaga sa employee. Okay? So we know that there's a lot of allegations with the different departments, but maybe not Dole, okay? And even if there is, it's not comparable to whatever else that has been allegedly stolen in other government agencies. Allegedly. So let's wait na lang. Instead of panicking and making a big deal out of it, let's wait for the final findings. Para kasi, react tayo ng react, tapos later on, nalaman pala natin, malinis sila. Anong sasabihin naman natin? Is it a good reflection of us to react? Or just wait for the objective findings, which will come very soon. Rona?
Ayun. At ingat din po tayo sa pag-i-interpret ng mga nire-release po na reports ni COA. Kasi tandaan po natin ha, si COA po ay hindi sila diretsahang nagsasabi na mayroong corruption. Wala. Wala kayong makikita dyan kay COA. Kasi si COA is an auditor. They are to think of them as your auditing firm. Di ba? You have your internal and external auditors. They audit your processes. They try to see if there are loopholes in your processes. They try to understand what's happening. What they are telling the public whenever they report these findings, whenever they publish it in their website, what they tell is if there are deficiencies, meaning may kakulangan sa documentation, or if it's unnecessary expenditure, hindi naman kailangan, bakit kayo gumastos? Those are the things that these government agencies have to answer. COA will never send out a report that says that there is corruption. They will just say that there are deficiencies, unnecessary expenditures, unliquidated advances. Yan po yung sinasabi nila. And then the government agencies would have to coordinate with them in order to justify all of the expenses, provide the documentations, provide the liquidations. That's how COA works. So baka naman iniisip natin kagad na dahil sinabihan lang na okay, ito findings lang ko, corruption. Kalma lang po muna, tingnan natin yung final, and then once the final report is out, si ombudsman naman ang magti-take charge kasi kailangan naman nilang mag-file ng kaso kung meron dapat kasuhan. Okay, now
And
as far as
a lot of
go
people
ahead.
are saying, paano daw yung mga taong under disbursement? Okay? Under disbursement is not the same as disbursed. There is a difference between under disbursement and disbursed. Okay?
Mm-mm.
Hanggang yung pera na deposit sa account ninyo, it does not mean ninakaw siya. It just means medyo late kayo nag-apply and meron tayong inaantay ng availability of funds kung sakasakaling hindi na ibigay dito sa A, may pera pang bigay kay B. Pag kinuha ni A, de walang pera si B. Ganun lang talaga yun
Mm-mm.
because funds are limited and remember, this is free money. It's not mandated money. So, let's just wait. Kasi kung
And
meron talaga, mapupunta talaga sa inyo yan. Diretso sa account ng employee.
And Dolo was very, ano naman, was very transparent naman during the start of the
Of
pandemic na
course, yeah.
talagang naubusan sila ng
Oo
budget.
naman.
Inamin nila yon, naubusan sila ng budget. They were not able to provide lahat ng mga qualified, hindi sila nakapagbigay lahat doon. So nauna, syempre inuna nila, I think during the, if I remember correctly, during the early days of camp, inuna nila yung mga maliliit na mga companies and then latter part na yung mga malalaking companies.
Correct. Mhm.
Unfortunately, nung pinaprocess na nila yung malalaking companies, doon naman pumasok yung iba pa nung na-realize nila na, uy, legit nga.
Totoo pala.
So, oo, so nagkaubusan ngayon ng funds and Dole was very transparent about that na naubos talaga yung funds. Which is why, dinaan ngayon nila with SSS, SBWS. Okay, yun naman yung naging nangyari doon eh. Kaya biglang pasa kay SSS kasi hindi nakakayanan ni Dole. And then after SBWS, doon naman pumasok yung third run naman nung sort of camp, pero limited na lang ito. These are only for companies that are tourism related. Yun na lang yung binibigyan. So if you see that still under disbursement, most likely naabutan kayo noong pagkaubos na ng pondo. So let's just wait for whatever Dole has to say about those that are under disbursement, but most likely either naubusan na yan ng pondo or may mga
Mm.
ganitong kaso kasi na merong mga dinisburse or nirelease si Dole pero hindi na-claim kasi mali yung details na nakalagay dun sa report. Nag-issue ng announcement si Dole niya na please paki-check. Ilang beses sila nag-announce yan kasi meron sila nakikita na mga floating pa na amount na hindi pa nakiklaim simply because mali yung cellphone number, mali yung details. So, check nyo. Tignan natin kung ano magiging announcement ng Dole tungkol dyan. Kasi if, for example, katulad dyan, subjected na sila for COA or for auditing, makikita naman dyan. And Dole will try to exert effort to have all of those liquidated. Kasi din sila nag-a-announce whenever there are floating amounts, kaya makikita nyo sa page nila na paki-claim, check if tama yung details, kasi sila may mga ganong announcements. Kasi they know that they need to have that liquidated. Again, not saying that they are 100% walang corruption. Okay? We're not saying that. We're just saying that from what we can see, they are exerting effort naman to ensure that whatever it is that they need to do, they are doing it to the best of their capability. Ayan. So yun po, of course. Syempre pa, ang ating pong favorite na government agency ay meron din pong announcement. Sabi po ni SSS, they are continuing when it comes to the extension of the filing deadlines for the sickness notifications and sickness benefit claims. Ang sabi po ni SSS ay hanggat hindi po nalilift, so from March 1, 2020 hanggang sa malift po lahat ng uri ng community quarantine, yung atin pong pag-notify at pagsasabit po ng reimbursement, ito po ay extended. Extended po siya up to 60 days after the lifting of the quarantine. Pag sinabi pong submission ng notification, yung hard copy po ha. So yung mga online submission, i-ano pa rin po natin yan. Process po natin kagad yan kasi syempre, mas maaga nating mag-forward, mas makakakuha kagad yung ating mga empleyado nung kanilang mga benefits. Kasi mahirap kung aantayin pa natin ang lifting ng community quarantine, baka nawala na si employee, nag-resign na, umalis na, hindi pa natin nare-release. Mas malaking sakit sa ulo yan. So process po agad and then 60 days after po ng lifting ng quarantine, yun po yung extension para in case na kailangan nyo i-submit yung mga hard copies or additional documents. Okay? Si SSS naman po, although they already have this extension, they are still encouraging everyone to make use of the online platform para hindi na po mag-aantay ng matagal kasi pag nag-antay po kayo ng matagal at lahat tayo ay nag-antay ng matagal, matatambakan naman po si SSS. So as much as possible, have it processed as soon as possible online. Okay? At nire-remind din po ni SSS na dapat lahat po tayo, employers and employees alike, voluntary members, OFW, self-employed members, dapat po register tayo sa my.sss. Download din po tayo noong my.sss application. If you have the old version of the my.sss app, update nyo na po yan. Log in kayo sa app nyo, mabibigyan kayo ng option to have the app updated. Bakit kailangan nyo yan? Dahil lahat po ng ang aim po ni SSS ay lahat po mai-process na online. Lahat ng mga benefits, privileges, mai-process po online. So make sure that you already have my.sss account, whether you're an employer or an employee, dyan na po papasok ang mga transactions. Ayan. Pinapaalalahanan din po ni SSS sa mga pensioners natin, naku, kung kayo po ay gusto mag-loan, wag na po kayo sa mga loan sharks, wag na po dyan. Dahil po mas malaki po ang magiging interest nyo dyan, mas maganda po kung mag-apply na lang kayo ng pension loan with SSS dahil mas mababa po ang interest rate ng pension loan ng SSS. Remember, this is for the pensioners. Kung kayo po ay active employees, hindi po kayo po pwede dito, wag nyo na pong itry. Active pensioners lang po ito. Pwede po kayo mag-apply for pension loan. Ito pong PLP or Pensioner Loan Program was launched last September 2018. So matagal na po ito. If you're not aware of this, kung meron po kayo mga kilalang pensioners and they are not aware of this, please let them know. This allows qualified retiree pensioners to avail of loan up to 3 or 6 or 9 or 12 times. So up to 12 times their basic monthly pension plus the 1,000 additional benefit, of course not exceeding the amount of 200,000 pesos. Moreover, net take-home pension must be at least 47.25%. Ayan po. So kung kayo po ay interested, head to the website of SSS para kayo po ay makapag-apply for your pensioner loan. And of course, pinapaalalahanan din po ni SSS ang mga pensioners po natin na gustong mag-loan. Ang interest po nito ay 10% per annum, similar to other loan products ni SSS, yung mga short-term loans nila. First monthly amortization for pension loan is due on the second month after the loan was granted. May 1% service fee po ito na waive na. So mas maganda po ito kumpara do sa iba pang mga loans. Imagine niyo sa mga loan sharks, malaki kagad ang interest niyan at hindi kayo tatantanan niyan pag hindi po kayo nakapagbayad. So mahirap po 'yan. Si SSS po, i-charge lang po 'yan against your expected pension. Doon na po nila i-deduct yung kailangan niyo ipambayad. So walang kahasel-hasel ang pagbabayad. Kailangan lang po na kayo ay 85 years of age or below by the end noong last na term noong inyo pong loan. So kung kailan yung last na singil for the loan, dapat 85 years old or below kayo during that time. Pag kayo po ay lalagpas na, most likely po ay hindi po ma-approve or mas mababa po ma-approve. Dapat din po wala po kayong deductions, outstanding loan balances, benefit overpayment para kayo po ay makapag-avail ng pensioner loan. At dapat walang existing advanced pension under the SSS Calamity Assistance Program. So kung kayo po ay nag-avail ng Calamity Assistance Program as a pensioner, maaari po kayong ma-reject for the pensioner loan. At dapat din po kayo po ay nakaka-receive ng regular monthly pension for at least a month at tag po kayo as an active pensioner para makakuha po kayo or makapag-avail ng pensioner loan. Okay? Para naman po sa ating mga kapatid na self-employed, voluntary members, OFW, kayo po ay maaaring mag-generate ng inyong PRN in 5 different ways. You can generate it using your my.sss account online or use your SSS mobile app in order to generate the PRN number. Kung kayo naman po ay wala pa ng mobile app at nais nyo pa rin po mag-generate ng inyong PRN, text nyo lang po si SSS, SSS PRN, and then space, and then your 10-digit SSS number, your PIN, and then your date of birth. Send it to 2600. May charge po yan, 250 per text po. So mas magandang download na lang po tayo ng app para at least free ang pag-generate ng PRN. Pwede rin naman po kayong mag-email kay prnhelpline@sss.gov.ph para po sa inyong PRN. Tutulungan po nila kayo pero alam naman po natin pagdating sa email, medyo matagal sumagot ngayon si SSS because they are on skeleton workforce. Pwede rin po kayong mag-request via the SSS hotline at 81455. Huwag niyo pong tawagan po yan pag kayo pa magrereklamo o kung ano pa man. Ito pong SSS hotline na po ito ay para po sa mga availment po ng mga privileges at mga benefits. Diyan po ang tawag. Kung may mga questions po kayo, punta po muna sa inyong HR or check niyo po muna online, check niyo po yung inyong my.sss account para alam niyo yung mga kasagutan na hinahanap niyo. Pwede rin po kayong mag-request through selected payment collection partners na nag-accept po ng PRN payments. Kailangan nyo lang po mag-present ng valid ID para ma-generate po nila ang PRN on your behalf. Okay? Pag kayo po ay magre-request po ng PRN, para lang po ito sa self-employed, voluntary at OFW members. Pag employed po kayo, ang generation po ng PRN ay kay employer po. Okay? Pag employed po kayo, regardless if you are regular, probationary, yaan po ay dapat dinededakan ng SSS ng inyong pong employer. So make sure po na tama po ang ginagawa ng inyong employer. Sila po ang magpa-process ng PRN for that. Okay? Ayan. Okay, at syempre po, meron din pong statement ang ating pinakamamahal na PhilHealth. Mentor Tina, ano po ang masasabi mo dito po sa latest na statement ng ating beloved PhilHealth?
PhilHealth is reminding everyone that they will be suspending payments of claims that are most likely uh, unethical, fraudulent, or have abuse of authority. We are always so quick in saying that our PhilHealth is corrupt, but it is also true that there are some hospitals who are, how do you call it, parang yung kunyari ang sakit mo lang ay ubo, sasabihin nila may pneumonia ka. Kunyari wala kang COVID, you just have fever, sasabihin nila may COVID ka. Because the reimbursement that the hospital or the medical provider that they can charge to PhilHealth becomes a lot higher when the disease has a higher coverage. So they are just reassuring us that if the claims are legit, of course there will be no problems when it comes to payment. Pero if the claims are questionable, then of course PhilHealth will suspend the payment for that particular claim and then investigate before paying. Kaya hinay-hinay lang tayo because justice goes both ways. Next. PhilHealth also assures that those who go to the hospitals pero walang makuhang kwarto, nandun lang po sa labas na may tent are still covered by PhilHealth. So if everybody is still forwarding photos about claims ng mga tao na wala daw silang PhilHealth coverage kasi hindi daw nakapasok ng kwarto, hindi po totoo yon. Ulitin natin, members of PhilHealth have coverage when they are admitted in the ERs or tents within the hospital compound pending availabilities of the room. So sa mga tao talaga na medyo seryoso yung mga simptomas, please do not be afraid to actually seek medical help kasi kahit na papaano, it's still better than staying at home and it might make a difference between life and death. Next.
Ayan. Bago po tayo, wait lang. Ayan, sige, ikaw po muna,
Ayan.
sorry.
With regards to this, there is also what we call PhilHealth Consulta. Okay? This is actually a program that was issued 2020 pa po. And ang importante kasi PhilHealth members should sign up for a PhilHealth Consulta accredited clinic in order to avail of it. Ano po yun? It's a similar to what a barangay clinic is. You can actually go to that accredited clinic and ask for general medical advice. Okay? It's not like, oh, may cancer ako. No, that's not it. General medical advice. And they will give you actually free medicine, certain medicines. There is also there's quite a few benefits as well, which includes advice from a doctor. You can also get select laboratory or diagnostic examinations, which includes CBC with platelet count, urinalysis, fecalysis, fecal occult blood pap smear, OGTT, ECG, chest x-ray, creatinine. However, you must be registered first doon sa clinic na yon and you can update that once a year lang. So if you guys do not know what it is yet, please look for information doon po. It is Googleable. Please sign up for it kasi sayang din talaga na instead na pupunta ka sa isang medical provider na kailangan mong magbayad, pwede pala sa PhilHealth Consulta basta nakapag-register kayo before. See, lots and lots of benefits pag alam mo yung mga benepisyo offered by PhilHealth. Next.
Ayan. So bago po tayo pumunta sa atin pong mga sponsors, meron din pong update si PhilHealth. So actually this was issued yesterday. PhilHealth mentioned that they are already covering those who are self-isolating at home. So sabi ni PhilHealth, isolation package will be an option for patients who meet the social and clinical criteria for home quarantine and are able to receive health support directly from their houses. So COVID-19 patients who are mild and asymptomatic and isolating at home, sila po yung i-cover nito. Para po ma-cover nito, kailangan po ay merong minimum 10-day home isolation consultation, 24/7 monitoring at dapat po ay merong home isolation kit. So i-feature po namin ito sa Philippines HR Group once we have the details of the coverage. Wait lang po kayo do sa announcement, but definitely PhilHealth has already mentioned this kahapon pa po. Okay, so
May I add lang?
tambay-tambay lang. Sige lang po, go ahead.
Yeah, with regards to that, you guys have to read the fine print. Okay? Kasi it's not like kunyari ikaw you have COVID, you have tested for COVID and then you choose to self-isolate and then you will ask for PhilHealth coverage. No, you actually have to escalate this with your LGU, with your barangay. They actually have to instruct that you will undergo home isolation. They should give you a kit before you can avail. But if you think that you don't want to say anything about it, you just choose to isolate because you have mild symptoms and you expect PhilHealth to pay for you, that's not it. So please read the advisory very carefully. There's a lot of benefits, but you need to know how to get it. And that includes involving people sa barangay. And a lot of Filipinos don't like that kasi they're afraid na pag the barangay knows that you are COVID positive, they will really quarantine the entire house. That is true. But if you do not involve the barangay, you will not get the PhilHealth coverage.
True. So antayin po natin yan. Ipopost natin sa Philippines HR Group yung full na ano po niyan, na requirements po. Wag po basta-basta, wag po kayo sumugod ngayon sa mga ospital ninyo at sa PhilHealth at sabihin na, oy, i-cover nyo kami. Wag po. May mga details yan, may mga requirements yan, may mga eligibilities yan. Wag nating kakalimutan na basahin maigi. Lagi namin sinasabi sa Philippines HR Group, read it in full para nagigets nyo po yung context. Okay. Siyempre pa po, bago tayo mag-proceed sa pinaka-aabangang part ng atin pong HR Cafe, we would also want to thank our sponsor, one of which is El Puerto Marina Beach Resort and Vacation Club. If you're looking for a place where you can hang out para lang po kahit papano ay makapag-distress from all of that what's happening dito po dahil sa pandemic, you can head to El Puerto Marina. Meron po sila sa Pangasinan, meron sila sa Boracay, and they have another one coming up in Palawan. Napakaganda po ng facilities ng El Puerto Marina. I've been there and it's a great place for you if you want to relax, really get away from the yung usual grind, city grind. Magandang pumunta sa El Puerto Marina, tahimik at nasa tapat po ito ng beach, so po pwede rin po kayong mag sunset watching, yung mga ganung bagay. Maganda po yan para makapag-distress po kayo. Good for your mental health kung hindi na po talaga kinakaya ang stress ng buhay dito sa Metro Manila or sa inyo pong kinalalagyan sa mga sandaling ito. Ayan po. At syempre po, we would also want to invite everyone to be part of the virtual HR certification program of People Matters Be Next. Pwede po kayo mag-enroll as member of the Philippines HR Group. You actually get 25% discount from this one if you enroll in any of their certification program. So they have a certification for virtual recruitment and onboarding, virtual performance management, and reimagining employee experience. If you want to get the certificate for that, enroll na po, 25% discount. Just use the discount code PHRG25 pag kayo po ay nag-enroll. Ayan po. At syempre pa po, meron din po tayo na People Force. People Force is an HR management system. It's an all-in-one HR management system for small to medium-sized companies. It is focused on people and not on the processes. The modules included in People Force is People HR. If you want an analytics board that can help you in tracking all employee data with just one click. It also automates onboarding. It provides you with an HR calendar and a knowledge base as well as FAQs for your employees. There's also People Perform that helps you with tracking your employee performance, their moods, their OKRs, individual objectives, one-on-one meetings, and performance review via 360-degree. There's also People Time, which is an attendance tracking platform, project management platform, and a way for you to log yung mga time in and time out ng inyong mga employees, which will definitely help with your payroll processing. There's also People Recruit, a centralized database that you can use for your candidates. Vacancies management, it also has customizable funnel stages. It will also help you in creating templates as well as in sending emails. So hindi nyo na problema ngayon ang pagsisend ng rejection emails, update emails, at even yung job offers po pwede nyo na isend via People Recruit. It allows for electronic signature. It also gives you reports and statistics para alam nyo if there are stages in your recruitment process that needs to be further improved, as well as quality of applicants. Makikita nyo rin po dyan. There's also People Pulse. It's an online platform provided by People Force that can help you with your online employee survey. It's an automatic platform that allows for invitations, reminders whenever you are sending out engagement surveys. It provides you with detailed analytics real time. At isinisave niya yung mga answers anonymously so your employees don't have to worry na baka naku, pag sumagot ako nito baka balikan ako. So wala akong kaproblema kasi all answers are being sent to you anonymously. If you want to try their platform, you actually have 14 days free trial as members of the Philippines HR Group. Just visit www.peopleforce.io or scan the QR code that you are seeing in your screens right now. Ayan po. Or you can also reach out to us para naman po masabihan namin kayo on how you can take advantage of People Force. If ever you have any questions, of course, kung pwede po kayong pumunta sa atin pong group, Philippines HR Group, or the Facebook page of Philippines HR Group. And you also can join our LinkedIn group page para po makita nyo kung ano mga updates na ina-announce po namin. We also encourage you to like our FB page for HR Cafe, Usapang Trabaho, Buhay at Iba Pa. Kung medyo feeling nyo naman ay confidential ang gusto nyo itanong at hindi nyo makaya ma-post sa group, you can send an email to darwinrivers@yahoo.com or message us at HR Cafe Trabaho Buhay, Trabaho Buhay at Iba Pa na FB page. Pwede po kayong mag-message doon na inyo pong mga questions. Kung meron po kayong mga job openings, pwede nyo rin po isend sa aming Facebook page yan or send it via email to darwinrivers@yahoo.com para ma-feature po namin yan sa susunod po na edisyon ng ating HR Cafe. At syempre pa po, nandito na po tayo sa pinaka-aabangan na part ng ating pong usapan ngayong linggo. At syempre pa, meron na naman po tayong special guest para sa ating pong episode for today. Naku, kung kayo po ay tambay sa ating pong Philippines HR Group, makikita niyo po isa po siya sa mga madalas na magsagot po sa ating mga questions. Isa siya sa ating mga masisipag na moderators. Madalas po yan dyan na nag-check. Lalo na pag medyo gabi-gabi na dahil siya po right now is not here in the Philippines. She's actually located abroad. But she has been a service delivery professional with experience in business process outsourcing since 2001 pa. She rose from the ranks from being rank and file to a management level, working in one of the top BPOs in the country. She's also one of the pioneer of Philippines HR Group, one of our moderators, who helped grow the channel since 2014 up to now, from just less than 100 members to the current na 267,000 plus members. Naalala ko ng mga bago-bago pa lang kaming mga moderators yan. Ako, konti pa lang ang aming mga chine-check na mga nagpo-post. Nung mag-start ang pandemic, bigla kaming dinagsa na sang katutak na post din. Yung tipong yung ating speaker for today, si Darwin, ako, and all the other moderators and administrators, talaga naman pong Diyos ko, 1,000 bawat araw ang pumapasok na questions nung nag-start po ang pandemic. She's now happily married mother of 2, trying to balance home life and career in Buffalo, New York, USA. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me in welcoming our speaker for today, none other than my colleague and a very, very appreciated member of the administrators and moderators, Miss Kit Huber. Ayan, Miss Kit, kumusta? How are you doing right now? Ayan, wait na, naka-mute ka po. Pa-unmute na lang po.
There you go.
Ayan,
Good
ayan, ayan.
morning. It's almost 4 a.m. here. We are
Wow.
12 hours behind.
Well, it's a great pleasure to have you here and to talk about effective leadership in challenging times. We'll give you the floor and we'll be in the background to support you. And then after your talk, we will be opening up for question and answer. For everybody else, please leave your question for Ma'am Kit. Just hit her with it so that later on we can ask her the question. Tuloy-tuloy na po tayo. See you soon.
Good morning, everyone. Actually, good afternoon to everybody. Thank you for inviting me for this talk. Um, I'm very glad for the introduction, Rona and Tina. I remember when the group was very small and the pandemic hit, and everybody seemed to want to use HR group as a portal to ask questions. So Darwin decided, and the group, yeah, this is a great place to be, right? Um, a lot of people are asking for help, and this is a service we can provide. I remember when it was small and we became deluged with so many questions, the same kind. Pero yung nakakatawa dun eh, lahat din sumasagot, lahat din tumutulong. Even late at night, especially when the SSS website was down or PhilHealth website was down, lahat lahat kayo tumutulong. So I really appreciate it. We really appreciate that help. Now, the topic of my talk really is leadership in challenging times. I can't imagine anyone in this world who has not felt the impact of the COVID pandemic, diba? I thank God every day that my family is safe and I have friends that take care of themselves. But we all know everybody, anyone, friends and families, neighbors, or someone in our extended circle who has COVID or has died of it. In fact, I know somebody who died of it yesterday. Um, for that, let's take a moment to remember every one of them right now because this is really leadership in challenging times. Um, so, going back, the pandemic disrupted our lives. Business changes normally is what causes work stress and anxiety in all of us. COVID's impact on the economy has brought many safe jobs into exposure. Your cubicle even or your desk is no longer safe, diba? You need to disinfect your desks if you work in the office. Now your favorite coffee shop, your grocery store, your suking tindahan is also not a place that you can hang out or linger anymore. Nakakakabanan lumabas. We have brought our workplace home. Our safe haven from the office now our home, our office. We bought internet subscriptions, aircons, work from home desk and chair para lang makatrabaho. Our children and spouses, our partners and our parents now see that what we do every day. If it was a mystery to them, what you do when you leave the house and go to work, now they see you. Now they hear your conference calls. Now they know what you do when you see you go on overtime. And if you're a frontline worker, the reverse is true. You still need to go out there to work. So now, when you come home, your clothes are no longer safe. You need to disinfect that, diba? We need to consider buying better laundry detergent, just or bleach, because now we come home, we hold our children in our arms, we kiss our loved ones, we go to bed, and it might not be safe. So in the space of 2 years, our lives have changed. As people leaders, our jobs are also now magnified. It's no longer enough to coach our team with quote marks to perform. We are now mentors, we're guides, or teachers, and you might already know what's going on in your team's lives outside of work. If they were open to talking about their lives with you in the office, mas detailed yung alam mo ngayon kasi it might be like quarantine, COVID, getting sick, or it's hard to commute, diba? The times we live in, now we know more. And sometimes those stories are hard to deal with. So how can we manage and how can we take care of our team and ourselves? I hope that I can share some insights that has gotten me through these past few months. None of these are new, of course. Many of these are things that you probably already know. They are not rocket science. But I hope at least in this talk, you can be comforted by the fact that you are not alone. You're doing your best. We are here to help the moderators and admins of HR uh, Philippines HR Group are here to help, and I hope you can find something useful here for when you deal with your teams. So, how do we lead in challenging times? Let's see. There you go. So, here are the points that probably help me through. We set the tone, be transparent, stay connected to your team, take care of yourself, and give back. So, first up, well, the secret of change is to focus all of your energy not in fighting the old, but on building the new. So, in the beginnings of the pandemic, we can't go back to how we used to do things. That's gone. We should reconfigure our thinking to what's next. What can we do after? So, when at the beginning of the pandemic, people automatically went into denial mode. This can't happen to me. It's going to go away. Fake lang yan. We will find a solution soon. The vaccine is going to be available soon. Tumagal. After a few weeks, it became months, and then a year, and then 2 years later, here we are. For me, I work remotely part time, and we're adjusting. We're still adjusting to this change. We move from quarantine to lockdown, to enhanced lockdown, to super duper lockdown, and then work again. So we must move from denial to acceptance eventually. So set the tone. Wait, people look to you to model the right behavior. Let me look at that. Let me script. There you go. Leaders go first, demonstrating the attitude, competencies, and enthusiasm they wish others to adopt. Wait, hang on. Their actions can greatly influence others and those of other people. Every time you watch a morning show, don't they start out cheerful and excited about when they sign on, they say good morning. One time, I worked at the night shift of a BPO that was located at the top floors of a major TV network. If you work at the BPO, you know you work nights. I remember around 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning, the parking lot and the street in front of the building would start to get busy at 2 a.m. It's because the morning show and the TV radio show crew were preparing for the day. By the time they turn on the show, 1 or 2 hour prep na sila. When you turn on the radio in the morning, ang they greet you like good morning Pilipinas, ang lakas, 'di ba? That's who we need to be when we start the day and the work week. Our team looks to us for that effort. Our words and actions send the loudest signals about what others should be doing as well. So if you're a people leader, um, as Rona said, you don't necessarily have to be management to be a leader. If you're Be conscious of how you project yourself to others. And what does your body language say? Yeah, you have to internalize that every day before you come to work, right as you greet people, when you come through the door. Do you roll your eyes in a meeting? Uh, in a video conferencing world right now, like how's your hair? You have to check that. Your skin, your lighting. Do you look like you're awake or excited? So set the tone. Avoid cynical comments. No one likes a negatron. There's no benefit at all for being the first person to go in a negative in any group setting.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let's just wait till Kate goes back again.
Yes. Oo, medyo mukhang hindi maganda ang kanyang connection. At ang dilim ko, ayan. Okay. So,
That's
ayan po.
okay.
Yeah. So while we're waiting for Keith, please make sure that you comment. You use our comment section in order to tag your friends. Let them know that we are live right now. If ever you do have any questions, please make use of our comment section. So far, ano po ba ang nakukuha nyo sa mga nabanggit ni Keith? Actually, ako gusto ko yung sinabi niyang line about set the tone. If you are a 90s person like me, ayan, magkakaalaman ng age dito. If you're a 90s person like me, then most likely, you know the TV series ER. And if you know the TV series ER, one episode there, it was mentioned the line, set the tone. Hindi ko na maalala kung ano yung pangalan ng doktor, but sinabihan niya yung isa doon sa mga major characters. I think it's Ross. Ross ata yung last name ng doktor. Sinabihan niya na set the tone. Ibig sabihin, when you are within the operating room, you set the tone. If you are the highest person there, you set the tone. What people do, how they will react, kung gaano sila kakabado, gaano sila ka natataranta, you are the one who will set the tone. If the tone that you set right from the start is one of uncertainty, ikaw din mismo ay hindi ka sigurado sa kung anong gagawin, or ikaw din mismo ay masyadong negative, then the rest of your team will also have the same tone. So always set the tone. What is it that you want your team members to display? What kind of behavior? Be the first to do that because you are the one who will set that tone. Ayan po.
I agree with what Kit said. I think a lot of HR people can be quite reactive. Madali tayong ma-stress. Totoo yun, right? Because we're handling people. So there are really many things beyond our control, especially right now in a pandemic. So it's very easy for us to pull our hair and say, naku, nakakapagod naman to. Nakaka-stress naman to. Lockdown na naman. We love to complain. I don't understand, but we really love to complain. If we are given 5 pesos every time we complain, we would probably be way richer right now. So tama yung sinabi ni Kit, huwag tayong maging negatron. Bakit? First, there is no upside. If you are a negatron, dumadami ba yung pera sa bank account mo? Nagugustuhan ka ba ng boss mo? Mapopromote ka ba? Ask yourself what is the benefits of being a negatron. Number two, there is really no, not only that, but you also influence other people to be nega as well. When that happens, does the situation change? Or pareho pa rin tulad ng dati? If it is still the same, instead of looking at the bad things, why not look at the good things in life? It's the same din with regards to our personal life, 'di ba? Sa atin, parang ang hilig nating magreklamo, lalo na pag may kakulangan yung mga kasama natin sa buhay. But instead of complaining, why not look at the positive things? And if there is nothing positive about your partner, your boss, your colleagues, or your company, then the question is, what are you doing there? Because staying in a company that you don't like and complain constantly about is just going to harm you emotionally, mentally, physically, and for what point, hindi ba? So tama naman si Ma'am Kit. Set the tone, be positive, set the correct message, especially when you are in HR. Because the HR officers are the ones who talk to everybody else. And kung lagi kang nakatawa, lagi kang masaya, at hindi ka masungit, trust me, talagang mapopromote ka sa HR department because a person who is pleasant to be with will always be loved by the boss and the employees. But if you are always masungit, nagrereklamo, my gosh, ano, bakit ka nasa HR? 'Di ba? Maging troll ka na lang. Maging social media keyboard warrior. Yun na lang
Social
yung
media
career mo.
specialist.
Oo. Kung magrereklamo ka lang. Kasi pag HR ka, yes, we experience disappointments, frustrations, but do not be reactive. It's okay to get mad. It's okay to get disappointed, but don't make it too long. Okay?
Naku, nabanggit mo na rin lang naman
All
ang
right.
emotions.
Kit you
Um,
is back.
Yes, okay, sige. One lang, pa isang linya lang. So, nabanggit na rin lang naman yung emotions. HR people, lagi po namin nire-remind kayo sa Philippines HR Group, control your emotions po. Whenever you answer, whenever you look at situations, look at it as much as possible logically. Okay? Outside of emotions. Kasi emotions will cloud your judgment. So, as much as possible, look at it objectively, look at the facts, base your decision on the facts. It's okay to be humane, of course, lalo na ngayong pandemic and things like that, but always consider, if I do this, what's the repercussions of this decision? How will other people within my organization react to this kind of decision? Always look at all the other factors, all the impact of your actions before you say or do anything. Ayan. And Miss Kit is back, so let's call her online. Ayan po, Miss Kit,
Alright.
welcome back.
Thank you
All right.
everyone for your
Welcome.
patience. Oh my goodness. Oh no, pandemic, very technology based. So anyway, as you know, jumping into the conversation again, I'm a big Star Wars fan. So every time I feel that we're starting off poorly in a meeting, like I think I'm one with the Force, and the Force is with me. So always be ready to talk about the hope that's in you. You are a leader. You inspire. The point of all of this is that a lot of people are looking at you. The higher up you move in the ladder, the more people look. And when they do that, they need somebody that they can hold on to. Diba? Um, as leaders, our success is through the success of our team. We are no longer the best agent or the best newbie. When we were younger in the career ladder, it's easy to be good if the only performance measurement depends on you. The way to be a good leader is that other people are inspired by you. Reinforce common goals to unify your team. What do you have in common with your team aside from the fact that you work in the same company? Right? You have to find that out. You have to actively look for those commonalities. We rarely get a chance to pick the people that we will work with. They're like family. We just go in there and they're already built in. Even the best sports coaches have to work with the players that they didn't sign on or they didn't pick, right? In fact, if you pick your own team, you're one of the very lucky few, and they still rallied the team to succeed and to win. One of the first things on my to-do list when I join any new team that I inherit is to immediately schedule one-on-ones and team huddles or team building. When I set that time, I break it down in three parts. The first, so if it's an hour long, it's 20. The first 20 minutes, first one third of the time would be for them to go over their tasks and their metrics and goals with me. The second third, so the second 20 minutes would be my tasks for them or feedback for performance. And the last third, the last 20 minutes of an hour, would I give them the floor. Like and I open that with a simple open-ended question like, how are you doing? It's key that you ask an open-ended question that way instead of saying kamusta ka? No, like are you okay? The answer can only be yes or no, diba? When you say how are you doing, they can say fine, they can say good, and then you can jump in from there and find a common something that both of you can relate to. Humanize leadership. So in my role as a moderator for Philippines HR group, I've encountered many questions where the boss, in quote marks, is someone to be feared, someone distant and unapproachable. We have to change that mindset as leaders, as people leaders. We must be the face of what good leadership looks like. So imagine this, when our team reads a good leadership book, when they pick up a Stephen Covey book, you know, do they imagine us in the best examples of having a leader or person to work with? Or do they imagine us as the examples of a bad one? So we have to be the mentor or the boss that you wanted to have when you were younger. We set the tone of positivity and encouragement and support in the group, in your organization, in your team. Okay, we have to remember that that's a burden and a responsibility that we unconsciously carry, and that's not even part of our job description, but we have to start the team off at the right foot, and that really the buck stops with us. We're the ones that begin that. Next, losing your head in a crisis is a good way to become the crisis. Um, this is important to remember. Again, if many people are looking to you for guidance and leadership, and if you're the first person to run out of the room if there's a problem, then everyone panics. So what I can say to that is, as much as you're able, be transparent. The work we do comes with great privilege and responsibility. We wear two hats. You are the representative of your team to management in the organization, so upward, diba? And you're also the face of management, your team, downward. So management looks at you as a representative of your people. And when your team looks at you, you're the voice of the executives. In times of crisis and change, it means that most often than not, you are the voice of the organization to the frontline staff. Your ability to communicate can mean the difference between someone quitting or staying or reporting the company to Dole. you know, our ability to communicate relies heavily on how our team gets information from us. Be open, even if it means saying that you don't have the answers right now. And that's a big deal. And that's something that I remember needing to learn the hard way when I was a young leader, young manager, young supervisor. Mahirap umamin na hindi mo alam ang lahat. Um, Many times in my career, I really appreciate the bosses that I've had that have shared their vulnerability with me about the decision making process. There was a time, actually, I remember this quite distinctly, when I was promoted into a new role, and then the company hired someone to be my boss. So I loved the job, I was very good at the job, and then got promoted. But and we were doing very well. I was upset that they needed to hire someone new when I felt I could do their job myself, or so I thought. So I went to my boss, the VP of that company, and asked, like, why did you need to hire that person? So lalabas siya yung gitna. Ako, tapos my boss, and tas they hired somebody in between. I didn't know that at that time, but I appreciated only after the fact. Kasi he looked at me and said, I don't know. Ang sakit pakinggan kasi I knew I was doing very well. My um, my performance was good. My clients loved me. But my boss said he didn't know, but still he hired them, that person. Um, the company wanted I didn't know this at that time. I later on learned. I wanted someone more senior to me with more experience in handling client interactions. And I did not have the savvy or experience to do that at that time. But I remember that conversation with the boss very clearly, and I respect and consider him a mentor until today. His transparency and openness is something that I try to practice every day. So if you are in a position where your people push you for more answers and you really don't have the answers, I've learned in my career that they appreciate it even more, even if you have to say you don't have the answers right now. Parang, I know what, you rephrase, restate, and empathize. And if that you don't have the answer, you say it. Like, I'm sorry that this is what you're going through. I just don't have the answers right now. But I will look. If and when I have those answers, I will give them to you as soon as I am able to. The radio silence is death. So small updates are also important, even if the update is I don't have an update. And that's crucial for every person that I tried to promote through me. So if they applied and I'm the person that would be the hiring manager for growth, right, or transferring them to another team, um, even if the answer is I don't have an update, I still try to make sure I check in. Or if the answer is HR is still reviewing the case, or I I've checked in with payroll, hindi pa sila they haven't gotten back to me. Because nothing is worse um, than the silence after the question is asked, especially if the question is related to job stability and performance. In our roles as leaders, and also mostly the audience is HR, the audience here is HR and payroll. If there is no response, mas nakakakabayan, especially in HR and a payroll department, because they're most likely waiting for pay to be reconciled, benefits to be provided, or an answer to a promotion or demotion, right? For everyone who watched Captain America, that's the moment when, at the end, when Peggy was looking for Steve on the radio. Diba? Steve, do you copy? Do you copy? He didn't reply. And the lack of answer, the lack of response um, meant to her that he had died. So let's not be the person who doesn't reply or give an update. Our news might not be that dramatic, but for a person who wants to know if they'll be promoted or they'll stay in the company, that silence can be nerve wracking. You, the work, our task is, most of you is already working in HR. And for people leaders, I encourage you to continue to be a human resource leader. Human resources should not just apply to the designated person, HR person that works on your 201 files. It is every person who represents the organization. Every person. For your team, that's you. You care for your employees, so your concern for their well-being and your desire for their success is what will keep them going. It's what gives them hope. For many situations, you have to make it a point to be their advocate in HR, and you are the frontline HR they know. If you have someone in line for a promotion or a raise, be in close contact with your HR business partner. Have a good working relationship with your recruitment team for job posts, cross training, or up training opportunities. And tell them, be transparent as much as you are able about these changes, about these opportunities. Be the subject matter expert on different advocacies that your team holds dear. You will have team members who are women, parents, have children that they care for, um, might be struggling with mental health. You know, um, they are part of the LGBT community. They have soggy concerns. Know the advocacies of your team. Connect the team to those resource groups. So be a human resource leader in your own little team and sphere of influence. Thanks. Okay. Connect the team to the organization's mission and vision. So many times the mission and vision in my experience is there for just for show. It's for the website. It's for the when you make a poster, right? It becomes a tagline for the company. One time we tested our employees before we had an audit if they knew the company's mission and vision. We asked them, what is the company's mission and vision? And they simply said, with confidence, to meet and exceed client expectations. Um, that wasn't the mission and vision of the company. But it also meant that we were terribly misaligned with the company goals. So find out what your company's mission and vision statements are and share that with your groups. Again, be transparent, be communicative, and connect your team's overall goal, um, organic goals, to the company's mission and vision. Nothing nothing in life is to be feared. It's only to be understood. And now, especially now, is the time to understand more so we may fear less. More knowledge is better for everyone. Little knowledge is dangerous. So what I would like to share here is we need to communicate, over communicate, check for understanding and alignment. And this is what we actively need to do in this post-pandemic world. Stay connected. Use your daily or weekly check-ins for more than just performance goals. For people like me, I worked in the BPO space, call center operations. A lot of my conversations with my team and my direct reports are performance goals. What's your handle time? What's your quality? What's your CSAT score? First call resolution? What's your promoter score? Um, and it becomes monotonous and routine. But in the environment we live in, we need to also check in with our team. How are they doing? Ask them. Make it a point after any review. Ask them, how are you? How's your family? Stay connected with who they are, not just what they are to you. Um, it's not enough to go over performance goals when we meet them. I know a training manager who uses would host a Zoom karaoke or Zoom radio shows for her team, um, for their monthly reviews. It's very creative and it definitely makes up for the lack of face-to-face interaction with the company. Have a funny hat or statement day shirt on your meetings. Have them wear a same color shirt, or a statement hat, hopefully with no cuss words or bad words. And since we're beginning to work from home, or part of the time we're working from home, it is also worth knowing your direct reports' children's names, their milestones, the names of their spouses and partners, and their anniversaries. What are the dates that they find important? Put them in a notebook somewhere. Also remind them, maybe they forget. Maybe that's a day that you can remind them to take a day off or half day off. Diba? Stay connected. And this one is important for you, especially you lead people. Reach out to your mentors, your teachers, your guides, and your peers regularly. Most likely, the problems you're facing are the same problems that they're facing, right? You have to strengthen your mentor network. Check in with your peers. Leadership is a lonely role if you're out there by yourself. There are topics you can't talk to your team about, but you can let your peers know, or you can let your mentors know. Your mentors might have gone through the same exact thing that you're going through, and they survived it, right? When I ran a team of team leads, I had a team of team leads, and that group would have a post-shift coffee. So after work, and they were often shifts, so somebody would be off at 6 and 7, 8 o'clock, ganyan. Um, Sunod-sunod na lang sila, naghihintayan sila sa Starbucks magkakape. And then, mag-walk-in na lang yung QA, yung training, and then it becomes a whole group session with them. Sometimes I join, but most of the time I let them have that time to themselves because they need to check in with each other. Diba? The stuff that they encounter with their agents, they can't talk to their agents about, but they can talk to their fellow teammates. That particular group has moved on to other roles and companies, but the bonds remain. And they're the strongest bunch of leaders, new leaders that I know. They still connect with each other. They still have those Starbucks coffee moments. They're different companies now. Build a chat room for that small group. If you have a group chat for that uh, your team, right? Group chat on your mobile phone or group chat depending on what social media platform your company uses. Would have coffee with an old support group that I had before, fellow managers, and I still connect with some of my bosses once in a while. Just if I run into problems leading people and managing teams. One of them even made an interstate visit to see me here in Buffalo, and our families hung out for a day. And I cherish those relationships kasi when I hit a roadblock in in my work, in my career, it's always nice to bounce things off of them. So these peer and mentor networks sustain your emotional bank account. They help lighten the load, um, especially for topics that you can't talk to your directs about. Ask questions, listen, take notes, rephrase, and repeat. This is all part of communication, over communication at this time. Employees simply feel better when their leaders check in and demonstrate that they care. Take notes. I have a lot of notebooks. I have a lot of notes because I simply can't rely on my brain to hold it all in my head. Now that we have virtual sessions, we don't always see face to face. And Filipinos are big on nonverbal cues, right? A yes is sometimes a no for us. When I talk to my team, it's not enough that I have them on the phone. It is important that I see them face to face. So when I have Zoom meetings, I once in a while I ask them, "Can you turn on your camera? I'd like to see you." Especially if the conversation will be is important, that might make them happy or sad, right? If they're big topics, I want to see their faces because I want to see the nonverbal cues. And it's vital that you rephrase what you heard. So make sure you practice saying, "Let me see if I got that right." Or "Is this what you mean?" Right? Repeat and recap what was discussed and document them if after every official meeting that you have. What's next? Hmm. Be in the loop with your company bulletin and updates. Knowing where your company plans to go and do is important to your own career growth. That is also important and that is also important to your direct reports. Is your company publicly traded? Then know what the stocks cost and what the trends are. Who are your competitors? Are they doing okay against your company? Research this and find a way to share what you know, even if it's in bite-sized increments. You need to, as part of communicating and staying connected to your team, is educating them also about the health of the company and the company direction. In the face of adversity, we have a choice. We can be bitter about it, or we can be better. And those are my North Star. This part is what I like a lot. Accelerate your learning. So, this is a time where you actually upgrade your skills. I know we're all busy and we're trying to navigate and manage stress, but also make sure you upgrade your skills. Take a class. You cannot be complacent about your learning, and it's just easy to do what needs to be done and log out and do the same thing tomorrow. But upgrading your skills will help you in your job security. Take sessions like this, join the HR Cafe. The first 45 minutes of this session was very informative, and you can easily share that with your company and with your team, and you will be better for it. If you are personally struggling with your own motivation, then it helps you to not obsess over work issues. It will sharpen your knowledge about the business. So if you're saying you're in a technology company, learn a programming language or a new piece of software. If you're in finance, read up on the rules and regulations that your company has to abide with. And if you're running dry, really, basic program management and quality improvement training never hurts. There are learning courses out there. Instead of mabudol ka sa Lazada or Shopee, pwede naman bumili ng isang Coursera course or LinkedIn Learning, mag-invest ng konti, di ba? Spend an hour or two over the weekend to complete those classes. And if you do enough, you'll have a certificate. You can add that in your resume in the end. And then try that learning by sharing that information to your team through a lunch and learn. You know, share that learning with your team and help them also to become better. Secondly, learn something new that's not work related. During the pandemic, I learned how to garden. I didn't know I had the green thumb, and I had 14 tomato plants. One seed was all what I should have done. Isang seed lang, pero I planted 40. I didn't know that. 40 seedlings. Pero ang dami kong kamatis. And I discovered how to use a sewing machine, and I made masks and make bread. I took a watercolor class. Um, I had friends that became plantitas and bakers. Natutong gumawa ng dalgona coffee. Um, these new skills definitely help take our mind off our troubles. If you became a plantita all of a sudden, then you have a ton of green in your workspace. Bring some to the office. If you love your succulents, then you can um tawag dito, you can make more and give them as gifts. Malapit na magpasko. Konti na lang Christmas season na, di ba? All the bread that you learn how to make or bake, all of the little succulents that you were able to propagate and leaf, pwede mo nang gawing Christmas gifts. That's a healthy thing to do. And also, as joking aside, it helps us use a different part of our brain. With gardening, I understood the wisdom of planning 1 year ahead or one season ahead. Diba? Because each plant has a different growing season, or watering needs, or sunlight. When I used a real sewing machine for the first time, I made 200 plus masks in 3 different styles. Buti hindi ako masyadong natusok ng karayom. I discovered that there are many many ways to approach a problem. I enrolled in a course on how to teach adult learners. I'm not a trainer, pero there was a Coursera course that I signed up for kasi mukhang interesting. Um, that was that was interesting to me, and it became helped me become a better communicator with my team in the end. And the Coursera course I took, the topic was machine learning, super techy, super math. I didn't get to complete it. I need to complete it actually. But I learned the thought process behind machine learning, and it helps me with my work now, my new job. And my job is technology. So I don't now I understand a little bit more of the technology jargon that my IET team talks about. Right. So try it. Learn something new that's not work related. Exercise your brain in a different way. Make yourself a multi-tool at work, meaning be almost irreplaceable if you can be, if possible. The pandemic has shown us that there's no such thing as a job security. The company might be doing well, but if you lost your customers, then you're really not doing so well, right? A blue stock company can become crippled if half the department needs to go in quarantine or had COVID. So work stoppage is beyond their control. So there's no such thing as job security right now. Make yourself useful and make your team useful by learning. If you can help them keep their jobs, then do it by being a multi-skilled leader with a long-term plan of multi-skilling your team. So learn something new, share it with the team. Understand how another department works, then talk about it. Make life easier for everybody else. Update your resume. And this is not to encourage you to leave, but it's always a healthy practice. I make it a point to review my resume every quarter or at the very least every 6 months. The purpose of that is it forces me to review my milestones. It doesn't mean that I'm job hopping, not at all, but it forces me to review what did I do in the past quarter, or the past 6 months that's worth writing about. Can I summarize that in one sentence in an elevator pitch? If our CEO comes to the office and asks me what I do, can I or what have I done recently, can I summarize that in an elevator pitch? My most recent um, my most recent uh, performance goals and achievements. So having a quarterly or 6 month review with yourself helps you do a personal evaluation of your progress, even if your company only has annual reviews. Besides, updating your resume really is a way for you to remember what you've done well. And if you discover you didn't really do a lot of things well, then it's better that you know now than discover too late. Okay? We need to do a better job of putting ourselves higher than our own to-do list. So this next few slides will be obviously self-care. You have to care for yourself. Model the way for self-care. Unplug when you are done for the day, especially if you're the person that a person that works from home now or works part-time. At the end of the day, make a conscious decision to unplug. I've said this many times to my team, so often that they've also told me the same thing when I break that rule. The moment you feel that you're at the edge of burnout or, or you know that it's coming, pull back. You have to learn to rest and recharge. Unplug your laptop or your computer or put your mobile phone on offline mode. Unplug when you are done for the day. There, I found this out. There are two kinds of stresses, right? Stress, the bad stress that triggers the fear and the flight and fight reaction. That's not what we need. Um, Eustress, which is really more healthy kind of stress that drives performance. So the moment you feel the stress that causes the fight or flight reaction, unplug. When your boss is at your back, or really causing you stress, hair loss, heart palpitations, sweaty palms, unplug. Care for yourself. Reach out to nature. I mentioned this earlier. To the plantitas and plantitos out there, surround yourselves with plants. Seeing something green is relaxes your eyes. It's healthy. Um, Now I work in the office now full time, and I made sure I brought a little pot of a easy to care for green plant with me to my desk, and I find myself looking at the plant every so often. So I know that um, that it's healthy for me to see that much green. So if you have that was your pandemic project, surround yourselves with green. Also, go one other thing that I realized: go back to the water, meaning water relaxes you. For me personally, my family has a tradition of going to a body of water, to the beach actually, after death in my family. So when my dad died in 2016, we booked an Airbnb trip to Batangas. 10 of my family members. Ang dami namin. Nag-overnight lang kami. Or a weekend. I walked the beach at sunset on the first day there. My feet touched the water and I listened to the waves. After a week of crying, because bereavement obviously, diba? I remembered my dad. And my first cleansing breath that week happened when I was walking the beach and I heard the sound of the waves. It's true. If you find yourself in a stressful situation, you need to recharge. Go to the water. Go to the beach. To everybody in the Philippines, you're only within 1 or 2 hours driving distance of the beach or a body of water. Dito sa Buffalo, walang dagat. I miss it. Listen to the waves. Or take a shower. Drink a glass of cold water. Our problems are so small compared to the beauty and majesty of nature. We have to go back. The pandemic has taught all of these lockdown situations should have taught us to listen to nature, listen to the wind in the trees, the bird songs, and the sound of the waves. Take a walk, stretch. We took a lot of walks in 2020, socially distant, safe walks. There was no place for us to go. Um, Before, the only way people would recharge would be to go to the mall, go to a restaurant, go to crowded spaces. Now, this is the time for you, when you say you care for yourself, the time for you to also stay healthy, stretch. Uh, my husband is a social animal, so during the pandemic, ang hirap. Kasi we couldn't go out, but we took a lot of walks. And we saw more of our neighbors and more of our backyard than we did ever before. We were able to hit 10,000 steps every day. So get out of get out of the house if you can, kung pwede, unless kailangan mo quarantine. Um, you simply need to get out to not look at the screen every day. I love this next slide, this next bullet point. Hug your loved ones. I read a study where if you hugged somebody for 20 seconds, your um, your hormones, the hormones that trigger happiness, increase. I mean, when you go out there and hug your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your spouse, you don't count 1, 2, 3. You 20 seconds is enough to improve your mood. So make it a point at the end of your day when you unplug, you know, touch your plants, water your plants, do a stretch break, hug your family, or if you can't, check in with them, reach out to your family members. They are the people that you do this work for. They're the people uh, that's the reason. Sila yung dahilan kung bakit kayo gumigising sa umaga, di ba? Why you pay the bills, why you Make sure that they have a home, that they have a good school. Hug them. Hug them at the end of the day. Pray. My prayer life has deepened and become part of my daily habit since this all started. Sometimes I feel guilty that I had to take a pandemic for me to really be mindful of mindful and meditate. It is restorative and healing. And also, if you pray for somebody else, um, it's it's incredibly encouraging. COVID has brought my prayer and support groups into Zoom and video conferencing. Mass and worship services became live stream. We have brought the Lord into our homes once again. Think about that. All of this technology that we work and abuse in the office, in the workspace, in school, we also brought that in to our homes um, through like our prayer lives. Also came into our homes once again. So let's cherish that and bring it forward. Bring our prayer and meditation into excellence at work. Practice Thanksgiving every day, and that's a separate bullet point here because we have many task lists every day, diba? We have to also add one thing, which is to practice what we're thankful for. It's so easy to imagine what sucks or what's not working or we're living in the new normal. But um, practice Thanksgiving every day. Thank you for making me breakfast, mom. Or somebody brought you coffee, tinimplang ka ng kape sa umaga. Right? If you need to commute, then thank you for bringing me to work on time. Sa driver ng Uber mo or your jeep. Prac- Actively look for things to be thankful for every day. Wake up to the heroic minute. So here, this is a concept I learned a long time ago. What is the heroic minute? The heroic minute is the first minute of when you wake up every day. I am a snooze button queen. When the alarm sounds, I hit it maybe 5 times before I actually wake up. Ang hirap eh. I'm not a morning person. So that's me. It's so hard. There are few people that I know that are morning people. One of them is my 4-month-old. Sana matulog siya ng konti pa, pero she wants to wake up at 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Getting up for the first minute every day, for many of us, requires Avengers level heroism. So when you start your day right, what I would recommend is when the alarm kicks in, count 1 minute and then get up. Get up. And that's your first hurdle. Other people say the first task that you accomplish could be making the bed. Diba? So when you wake up, get up, make your bed. And that's the first thing that you finished for the day, okay ka na. I recommend thinking of your first minute get out of bed. The moment ano siya eh, heroic effort ang tumayo. Kasi ang sarap matulog. So when you get up, stand up, stretch, you've done the first big task of the morning. And then make up your bed. And then wash your face. And then go through the motions of taking care of yourself for the day. The next slide really is giving back. So may the hearts of those who have enough, especially now, be open to filling the empty hands of those who do not have the bare necessities today. Give back. So I talked a lot about checking in with your mentors, your peers. This time around, think about checking in with your direct reports and mentees. So your direct reports are people that report directly to you, and mentees are people that you mentor. So the people that reach out to you for help, the people that used to work for you but are now on to other things, people that ask you for guidance. How are they doing? And do you have people that are now in other roles? This is the part where we think about paying things forward. We are so blessed to be working the jobs that we do, to have these jobs. We are so lucky, well, so again blessed to have the opportunity to give back. And we give back uh, by checking in on our direct reports and the people that work for us, and we are helping guide. Volunteer your time or donate. So these days, it's so much easier to help. If you have extra clothes you don't need, part of your pandemic project was Marie Kondo or home edit, then you're familiar with the idea of decluttering. To declutter your mind, you declutter your life and your home. Your home. What doesn't give you joy? Then give that to the less fortunate. Ang dami naghihirap ngayon. Ang dami. Um, One example is Segunda Mano from Caritas Manila. Different, like I think parishes have drop boxes even, or you call their hotline, they'll come to your home and pick up your stuff. There are many organizations like that where you can volunteer your time or donate, and also donate directly to people who need help. COVID has drained the funds of many people. Just to right now, I know somebody lumampas na siya ng 300 for COVID care, COVID positive. And another na lumampas na yun ng 150,000. Ang sakit. They've maximized all of the possible health benefits that they could have gotten from their company, from family and friends and personal savings. Wala na. So um, donate directly to friends and people that you know that need help. Diba? Mobile online banking has made it possible for people to send money wirelessly. Dito, dito lalabas yung bayanihan spirit ng Pilipinas. Donate and help. Help. Tulong-tulong tayo. Do good deeds intentionally. So earlier I said think about things to be thankful for. So when you give back, also actively think about giving, doing good deeds, a little every day. Something small, something that might not even be noticeable, diba? Might not. So if you're at work, wiping down the kitchen counter in your common area, or washing dishes, hindi nakikita, but you do so, but it definitely will help the janitorial staff, right? Or buy somebody's coffee for the morning. Yeah. Or pay for some pag if you're in the if you're in public commute, pay for your seatmate, pay um for the ticket of your seatmate. And again, going back, hug your loved ones. I we can't I can't say this enough, and there's no end to the benefits of loving our family, hugging our loved ones. So it is in giving that we receive here. We are thankful for everything that we've gotten, but we are to we we have to make sure that we give back. And in this talk, I hope that you also understand you can't give what you don't have. Um, our team, our direct reports, our company tries. We give so much to them of our time, of our energy, sometimes even of our heart and our strength. Right? We have to remember to fill that emotional bank account for ourselves. So as a people leader, set the tone in a positive way for your team. Be transparent uh, about news and information, even if the news or information um, can be challenging. Stay connected with everyone that you're working with and working for, but make sure that you care for yourself. Make sure you take active participation in self-care. Personally, pray. Make time to pray. Make time to exercise. Wake up early in the morning and wake up to that. Stand up within the first minute of your alarm. It's hard. I've been trying to do that for 30 years. It's hard. And give back to, to sum it all up, give back. we have all been so lucky to be alive and healthy and the opportunity to enforce change and enact change with our employees. So in the end of it, to wrap it up, to give back. So that actually wraps up my talk. If you have questions, please let me know. And thank you for your attention and time today.
Very
Yeah.
inspirational. Kit, a lot of people are just putting hearts and no comments. So
Hi.
mga kababayan, mag-comment, mag-question tayo at kasi it's really hard to get Kit here online. It's 4 a.m. right now in Buffalo, New York. So please take advantage in getting her concentrated time. Okay? Kit, let's start lang with 'di
Mhm.
ba na yon, a lot of people are very stressed and emotionally drained because the
Oh, yeah.
pandemic has
Mhm.
really been ongoing for quite a while. A lot of people are saying nga na they're diagnosing that they have mental health issues. For those people who are reaching the end of their line, 'di ba? And there seems to be no solution in sight.
Mm-mm.
What advice would you give them?
So some practical tips. And
Yes.
definitely I've had people that reached out to me for that. It's hard
Yes, oo.
kasi dito lumabas yung talagang taghirap hindi sa bulsa ha, taghirap
Mm,
sa puso.
mm,
And I've had direct reports. I don't work with them anymore. Reach out to me specifically for like what to do. And here are practical tips I can offer. Um, this is when you work on your scheduled shifts. So if you're supposed to be working 8, start at 8. And if you're supposed to be leaving at 5, leave at 5. Every day, start doing that for a week or two. Don't go earlier than when you're supposed to. Leave exactly when you're supposed to leave. Kasi the stress that we see is when we start to take on work beyond our work hours. Di ba? So take off that stress and only use that for the 9 hours that you're in the office.
mm,
Start with that. Start small. When
mm,
you're supposed to be on lunch, get out of your desk and
mm,
eat. When you're supposed to be on your break, get out of your desk and leave the office or, walk. So get yourself the first self-care I would recommend is get yourself out of the situation that makes it stressful. Obviously, in these times you can't just quit
mm,
because there are people that rely on you. Diba? If you're a breadwinner, you can't just quit.
mm,
Hindi, sa balutan ka, goodbye. Hindi. And even if you quit, may 30-day notice ka pa. So, I recommend, look at your shift. If you if you get to the office at 7, pero your work is at 8, walk
mm,
around. Don't go into the office any sooner than when you're supposed to be there and leave when you need to go home.
mm,
So minimize the put your 24-hour day, 24-hour stress. Just put that in the 9 hours of your shift so that you have more time back of your life every day. Just start with that. Leave when it's your break time. Leave when you need to go home, and then
mm.
only come in when you're supposed to be there.
Yeah, tama ka, Kit, eh, kasi napapansin ko ang mga tao namomroblema sa bahay 'pag nasa trabaho. And then
Oo.
'pag kunyari nasa bahay naman namomroblema naman ng trabaho.
Mhm.
Like they're worried about their bosses while at home and they're worried about their family while at work. So,
Yes.
'di ba? Parang
Yes.
shouldn't you worry about your family, like magluto ka na, spend time with your kids when
Yeah.
you're actually at home? Pero when you're
Yes.
at work, parang if you, 'di ba, if you have problems at home, then what are you doing at work?
Correct. So that's my first tip for my very first thing to tell somebody who feels like they're burning out. Like the mental
Okay.
health crisis na siya.
Right.
Dahan-dahan. You can't
Okay.
afford to quit, 'di ba? You don't have a
Tama.
year's worth of backup salary, 'di ba? And you're a
Tama.
breadwinner, so you can't quit. Pero
Mm,
make it just a stressful 9 hours. That's it.
mm,
Don't make it a
mm.
stressful 24. 9 lang.
Tama.
There was actually a video about this sa YouTube. Now, we're talking kasi about making sure that you only work if you're on a shift of 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Work within 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. But here's the thing. One of the reasons why most people had to go beyond 7 p.m. or why most people get stressed out right now is because they start their work at 10 a.m. I'm not saying every one of us. There are some people who do this. They start their work at 10 a.m. They do go around in the office, or when you work from home, you check out certain sites for about 15 minutes. So that's 15 minutes less na for your work. And then you go timpla
Yeah.
ka ng coffee. And then you go to your friend, chika-chika muna kayo. By the time you do sit down to start your work, it's already 11:30. And then you take a break, lunch break at around 12:30 or 1 p.m. And then you go back at around 1:30 p.m. or kung napasarap ang kainan, 2 p.m. So you start working again at around 2 p.m. and then by the time 3:30 hits, magkakape ka na naman. Okay? So it's good to keep your work within the 8-hour shift, but check also what are the things that are causing you to not be able to finish what you intend to finish within the 8-hour shift.
Mm.
Kasi ano yan domino effect yan. Let's say you're not able to finish certain rush or urgent activities for this day. So, ang tendency mo ngayon, mag-extend ka. Nag-extend ka, napagod ka, na-late ka ng gising. Na-late ka ng gising, hindi ka nakapasok agad, so extend ka na naman ulit. Tapos ngayon, dahil gusto mo, meron ka kasi, let's say, meron kang personal errand that you have to attend to, so minadali si work. Hindi mo na-check ngayon na maigi. So may mga mali ngayon. Come Saturday, Sunday, which is supposed to be your rest day, ayan na si boss, tumatawag na, oy, let's say, Ana, yung work mo may mali, you have to revise this is urgent, I need this by Monday. So Saturday, Sunday, instead of it being a personal time, you now have to work and kumbaga address those mistakes, those things that hindi mo na iayos. So hindi mo na lang ngayon nagamit yung Saturday, Sunday mo. So, come Monday, burned out ka. So we also have to be careful, not just in making sure that we work within the 8-hour shift, but in what we do. We have to hold ourselves to the highest standard that we have para naman hindi nasasayang yung oras natin. Kung kaya naman natin, if we can do it right the first time, why not? Go for it. Para hindi rin naman kumakain ng iba pa nating oras para sa iba pang mga bagay. May video niyan sa YouTube and it was actually very eye-opening for me because at some point ganun ako. Pagpasok ko sa opisina, kape muna dahil kailangan ko ng energy. Check sa mga empleyado. Guys, kumusta kayo? By the time I sit down, it's already 11:30, 12 noon. Wala na ako masyadong magagawa. So I had to extend. At
Actually, ang tanong dyan, gising ba
mm,
tayo pag nagtatrabaho? Kasi a lot of people assume that if you are at work, you are actually working. Pero a lot
Yeah.
of people are medyo, aminin natin, di ba? Sometimes you are really lutang at work. You are at work looking at your screen, you are typing, but your mind is elsewhere. Obviously, when that happens, you type slower. Your reaction time is talaga, it does have an impact. And then when people call your attention, tayo pagalit. Nagtatrabaho naman ako, di ba? Pero it's not the time that you put in, it is also the output that you do. Kasi kung nagpe-payroll ka ng buong araw, okay lang po. Just make sure your mind is doing payroll and not thinking about something else because it will really slow your time and effectivity. Yung nakikita natin mga tao, di ba, ang dami-dami nagawa sa isang araw. May ibang tao naman, buong araw kaya nilang habain yung buong araw sa isang gawa and you're wondering, paano nila nagawa yun? You ask yourself,
Well,
gising ba tayo or hindi?
to be fair, the people that ask me for, that tell me talagang mental crisis na sa work, they really were workaholics. So, it wasn't an issue of time management na hindi sila nag-manage ng maayos ng time nila. It's just that they had crazy bosses
Yeah,
or
yeah.
ang tindi ng work or tagang hirap ng client or they feel like their jobs are going ang tindi talaga nung stress. So,
Mm, mm,
if you are in a position where you're struggling with mental health, yeah, again, make sure your time is within the shift, but also
mm.
it's the time to check. Are you really productive and making best use of your time? Kasi if you're a, that's yung example ni Rona, example ni Tina, then the problem isn't the mental health. It's managing your time more better. You need to manage your time better. Balik tayo
At
sa
saka,
umpisa.
mm,
You manage your
yes,
time.
baka rin siguro a lot of people lang, parang they, di ba ikaw, parang you find happiness with your plans, with learning, etc. Baka a lot of people kasi parang they're just limited to work for their identity. Wala
Mm-hmm.
silang outlet, like family or or
Yeah.
dogs or plants or interest, right?
Mm-mm. Totoo. So, going back, if you're struggling with mental health at work, yeah, do something new. Even if it's
Ah.
uncomfortable or foreign, do something new.
Mm.
Buy a little succulent. See if you can that thing can survive you. Masyadong
You
malaki
talked
kasi
to,
if you get yourself a pet. Baka masyado ng malaking responsibility yun. Get a plant.
Uy,
you
at
talked
ano
about
ha?
mentors, 'di ba? Sorry. You
Sige,
talked
sige,
about
Tina, go ahead.
mentors. How do you find, 'di ba, a lot of people want mentors but they don't know how
Mm-hmm.
to start getting mentors and they're very
Mm-hmm.
afraid. Baka yung mga mentors na iniisip nila magaling, baka mahal. How would you
Ah,
advise them to find? 'Di ba kasi baka mahal, 'di ba? Baka may fee.
ayan. Kaya si Tina, malakas ang malaki hourly niyan. Si Rona. Ang daming libreng mentor sa Philippine HR group, guys. No, but the practical tips, mentors at work are generally really people that you admire. They might not even be your boss. It's rare nga to have a mentor in your boss. I've had bosses na after ko na lang sila katrabaho ko, is when I asked them to be my mentor. Now, you can be formal about it by asking them, "Hi, can you mentor me on this topic?" Or they can be people that you just reach out to in the office. Yung kunyari, if you're because I'm not in an official payroll capacity or HR, then I know that some of the HR managers that I've worked with, um, I ask for guidance about HR things and eventually about life and leadership decisions. So they transitioned into, "Hey, you're my office mate," into, "Uy, ma'am, patulong naman. Am I making the right decision?" So they can be informal mentors in your life. So that's what I mean when I say mentors. And there are mentors out there talaga that you need to pay for.
Mm.
Right now in the pandemic situation, I don't recommend. Hindi tayo ganun ka fancy. Look for people that you admire at work. Fellow women leaders or executives. Um, Once in a while, ask them. Find an in. Kunyari, they're lead a support group or a resource group in your company. Then join that club.
Mm.
Ask for some face-to-face time or ask them really specific questions that will help guide your decision making. But always be mindful of their time because if you're asking a mentor, then more likely they're executives already. So start off by saying, "Well, do you have like 10 minutes? I'd like to ask you for your opinion if I'm doing this right." Yung dahan-dahan, I realized if that is the approach, a lot of people really do open up and are happy to help. Are happy to help. I've had reps that reached out to me. I was already like a manager and asked, "Ma'am, do you have time? Can I ask you for something?" I'm like, "Sure." Madali naman. Parang nagugulat pa sila that I would say yes. So think about it, di ba? In your role, if somebody approaches you, "Can you help me?" Di ba tutulong ka? Then you should be the same, moving upward, asking upward. Look for somebody you
Well,
admire.
ano ko lang, balik ko lang doon sa nabanggit kanina, yung
Mhm.
kanina about the plants and having pets and things like that. It's actually you training a certain, like what you've mentioned earlier, right? You're training a different part of your brain. And this also
Mhm.
works if, for example, you are a bit stressed out. Kasi minsan pag super stressed out ka na, it's because you're focusing, you are nagkakaroon ka ng tunnel vision and you are just focusing on one particular problem. So you
Yeah.
need to step back and train your brain to rewire it. Topic natin last week na NLP. Rewire it and get it, train it to look at things from a different perspective. Kaya napaka-importante, lalo na sa ating mga HR, we are in a very stressful work. We need to make sure that aside from what we do as HR professionals, we have all of these hobbies. Otherwise, makukonsume tayo masyado nung ating yung
Correct.
stress dun sa work. So we need to find things. If you want to be a plantita, be a plantita. If you want to be a dalgona coffee,
Ah,
'di ba, distributor, go ahead. If you
oo.
want to learn something new, get a new skill, or if you want to, it doesn't have to be something that's related to HR. Hindi naman kailangan na pag you get a new skill, kailangan related din sa HR. Hindi. You want to learn a new language? I'm trying to learn a new language. Go ahead. Anything that
Yes.
will allow you to, alam mo yon, breathe and really re-energize you, go for it. Walang
Yes.
pipigil sa'yo. Go ahead with that.
Especially for HR and payroll practitioners like you guys, you are exposed to many personal information and details about the employees. Alam nyo lahat ng kwento nila. Kung sino kailangan ng benefits, sino walang pera. Alam nyo lahat yan. So, it's really important to find something else to take your mind off of the heartbreak of many of the cases that you see.
Mm. I also love what you mentioned a while ago. Sabi mo na as an HR officer, it's very important you get back to your people.
Mm-mm.
I've noticed a
Yeah.
lot of HR officers kasi lalo na pag hindi alam yung sagot, ano
Yeah.
na scene zone,
Oh,
which really
yes.
bothers a
Sakit.
lot of staff, 'di ba? Lalo na sa pandemic, may tatanungin ka tapos makita mo scene or noted tapos hindi ka babalikan ilang buwan na. That really
Oo.
traumatizes your staff and nawawala talaga yung trust nila sa HR kasi dalawa lang yun eh. Either hindi mo alam yung ginagawa mo or sadyang hindi mo sila pinapansin sa concern nila. You don't care,
Yeah. Ang
right?
sakit.
So,
Ang
oo,
sakit.
masakit yun eh. How would you recommend for employees to deal with it pag ganun yung HR naman nila? 'Di ba?
Pag
Yung mga,
oh,
or ganun yung bosses nila. Yung may
escalate to
concern
management.
ka.
Ito yung una natin
may,
topic. Escalate to management.
'Di ba may ganun kasing HR na mag-email ka tapos hindi mo lang saan napunta yung query mo, right? If you are the HR or ikaw yung staff na ganun yung kausap mo, anong pwede mo i-advise?
So, what I can say is make sure you document every attempt to contact. So, hello, any update, give it a week. Any update, patungan mo yung email, patungan mo yung text. Any update. Aabot ka siguro, sana naman hindi. Pero kung umabot ka ng 4 update checks every week, nakisang buwan kang nakatenga, di ba? So, on the 5th, mag-copy ka na ng management. Masakit, pero ganun talaga eh. As much as you are responsible by being responsive to your team, working with HR and payroll, well, yeah, again, with anybody that you're trying to connect with, make sure you document, make an email trail. Pag umabot ka ng 3 attempts, wala. Mag-copy ka na ng iba. And then also naman, don't just let it stay in email. Try to text and call. Sabayan mo na ng call. Pag hindi sumagot, call uli. Pag hindi sumagot, call uli. Ganon. And then take a screenshot na ng call attempts kasi mahirap pag ma-scene zone ka, di ba? Especially if you have an HR or payroll pending case. Those things that need to be addressed. And if they are not addressed, you have to raise the alarm. Payroll issues are never, they have to be treated with respect and care.
True, true, true. Pera yan eh.
Pera
And
yan.
everyone lalo na ngayong pandemic, everyone is kailangan nila yung pera nila. So,
Mm-mm.
be it final pay, be it yung
Yeah.
regular na sweldo nila, you need to make sure that you respond in a timely manner. Lagi natin sinasabi yan sa HR. And HR leaders, if nakikita nyo naman na wala na lulubog na kayo sa follow-ups, baka gusto nyo naman po na i-automate ang system. Kasi baka naman po, kaya pala hindi nakakapag-reply, natabunan na yung email sa sobrang
Yeah.
dami. Baka gusto nating mag-ticketing system para mas madali po nating makikita yung mga
Yes.
ganyan.
At
Automate
saka,
where you can para hindi problema.
hindi naman masama magsabing walang update. Honestly, hindi naman masama sabing walang update. Kasi kailangan mo rin mag-reply. Di ba?
True. Oo.
Kailangan
Or
mo rin
alam nyo,
mag-reply.
unahan nyo na bago pa kayo
Oh,
bago pa kayo i-follow up, 'di ba? After, let's say, after 2 days and wala pa kayong update, send na kayo ng email na, oh, I know that you might be wondering what's happening. Unahan mo na. We don't
tama
have
na.
any updates yet. We'll try to provide you an update probably in the next few days. If
Yan.
ano pa rin, basta watch out for our emails. We'll keep you updated. Unahan nyo na. Huwag nyo nang antayin na mag-email sa inyo. Unahan nyo na kagad.
Correct.
Pero sa mga HR kasi, 'di ba lalo na pagdating sa payroll questions or sa mga benefits or sa loans, minsan talaga the answer kasi is not in front of you. So you really, eto lang, a lot of HRs kasi put it off.
Yeah.
They put it off. Seryoso na, seryoso ha. Pag may tinanong,
True,
Mm.
kamusta na
true,
Ganun
yung loan
talaga.
na approval ko? 'Di
true.
ba? Kung sa akin, pag nakuha mo na yan, trabahuhin mo na. Okay? You have to make an effort if you need to call SSS, if you need to correct something, make the effort already. Kasi a lot of people nagno-noted naman tapos wala namang ginagawa doon sa query ninyo. Please do not do that kasi pag nag-follow up na yung tao, chances are already too late. Okay?
Yeah.
And you not doing anything will not really help with the problem. May tanong si Mirna Kabantog, paano daw pag kunyari after the mess nandadamay pa daw?
Ooh.
'Di ba? Maraming gano'n. Advice kit.
After the mess, nandamay pa. Naku, mahirap yan. I need you to clarify exactly what mess this is. Um, I'm a little bit confused by the question, so somebody please clarify what it means.
Siguro
Miss Mirna,
mahilig
can you
tayo
clarify
na
more?
parang nandadamay sa gulo.
Well, um, hindi pa yun. It's still not connecting. Eh. Give me a concrete example, please. Kasi
Siguro pag
leadership.
kunwari or let's say sa leadership, ayun, sumagot na si Miss Mirna.
Yes, yes,
Ayan,
mainit.
dapat ang head ang sasagot sa email pero walang ginawa. Kaya siya na lang daw yung tumawag do sa concerned na person. So, kumbaga technically, nadamay siya. Hindi naman siya dapat yung may responsibility over that activity. Pero dahil siya yung nag-take ng initiative, siya na ngayon ang nadamay do sa gulo.
So that happens to me also all the time. Um, I get involved in payroll and HR issues when I'm disclaimer guys, hindi ako HR and payroll practitioner. I am the operations person, I'm the supervisor, manager. I connect with HR and payroll. But since I'm the person that they see, sa akin sumasabit yung employee. Um, it's part and parcel of, unfortunately, leadership. If people see you in a leadership position, they'll hang on to you and ask you for help. Diba? And being human as we are, we will try to help even if it's outside our scope. What I can recommend is if you find yourself helping activities or events or people that are not within your scope of support, make sure you document that this is what you're trying to do to help. So, just concrete example sa akin. I have agents now that are temps. I'm in the States. So, walang direct employees dito. Puro temps. Yung call center reps namin, temps. So, ang instruction sa amin is, if they have payroll issues, kakausapin nila yung agency nila. Hindi talaga sa akin. In the Philippines, sanay ako yung direct contact kasi ako yung tumitingin ng payroll. But, they are my reps. They come to work for me, diba? So, they see me, and then, Friday, walang pera. Sa akin sumusugod. Sa akin tatawag. Sa akin tumawag. I will not leave this office until I get paid today kasi they'll tow my car. My car will be repossessed. Aba, grabe ang payroll issues dito sa Amerika. So, anong gagawin ko? Hindi naman ako yung staffing agency. So, but I still, since they know I am their manager, I'm their supervisor, I will make the effort. Thank you for letting me know. Kalma lang. Thank you for letting me know. I will get you the help that you need. And I will reach out on your behalf. So that's what I normally do. That's what I will say. I will reach out on your behalf. I will get you the help that you need. And I made an email to their staffing agency. I copied that rep and said, please address this employee because they say that they haven't gotten paid. Ganyan. So, Mirna, kung similar yung situation sa'yo, um, I'm not sure if you can remedy that now kasi mukhang ang gulo-gulo na. But in the future or for future reference, if you're helping outside your scope of support, um, when you talk to that person, say that, be clear that this is not your scope of support, but I will help. Yun, diba? Parang, ano ko, I'll mirror it. Um, I will get you the help that you need. You're not my team member, but I will get you the support that you need. I will email, I'll copy you. Tapos i-ano mo na, and then move it forward from there. Para kung nagkagulo, yung pag nag-pointing fingers, hindi sa'yo babagsak yung problema. Kasi in the end of it, tumulong ka lang eh. Sinabit ka pa. Diba? But be clear. For the person that's asking your help, be clear that they understand. Restate, rephrase that you are helping and you're not the person that they should be attacking. Clear yan. And then start involving that person that they need to work with. Kasi mahirap
We're
yan.
all
Mm-mm.
we're almost at the end of our time. Any last words from you, Kit, followed by me, and then ending with Rona?
Um, First of all, thank you for the opportunity. I'm glad it's a girl power team today. For everybody's benefit, I communicate a lot with Rona and Tina with as moderators and admins of the Philippine HR group. We do a lot of behind the scenes work to make sure that your questions are answered thoroughly and correctly. um, we realize that our work is thankless and payless, but very, very rewarding. It means that more people in the HR and payroll space are informed and supported, especially, and it came at um, the right time for PHRG to grow. And we saw that, so seeing all those late night messages asking if the SSS portal was working, or everybody asking, tama ba tong error message na to, anong gagawin? We watched them all. We saw them all and we approved them all. So please continue to ask those questions. Um, for my specific talk, I hope you picked up some practical tips that are helpful to you. I realize that a lot of my audience are HR and payroll people, but um, these are these are tips and tricks and techniques that have kept me safe, kept me sane, and hopefully it gives you a little bit more sanity in your work. May bukas pa. We're not saving lives here. We're not doing we're not Derek McShepard and opening people's brains. Hindi, a lot of what we do is paperwork. So take a step back when you need to and hug your loved ones. Again, I can't emphasize this enough. They are the people that you work for. Sila yung kaya ka pumapasok, 'di ba? Para yung anak mo may pagkain, yung asawa mo, yung ganyan, 'di ba? Pag nahirapan ka na, isipin mo 'yun. Bakit ako gumigising sa umaga? Para sa anak ko. So, pag stress ka na, yakapin mo na yung anak mo, 'di ba? Para meron kang lakas sa susunod na shift. Yun lang.
Sa akin, three words. Pinili natin yan. Or pinili mo yan.
Totoo,
No, a lot of
totoo
people,
yan.
in life, we always feel that we are not in control. If we are not in control, we become more stressed. And then we communicate that stress with others. We
Yes.
feel that it's somebody else's fault that we get in a situation, right? Be it at work, in family, at play, right? But remember to yourself these three words, pinili mo yan, okay? With work, you chose your work, the type of job. Who applied? Did you apply for it, or were you pirated away? When you were given an offer, were it not you who actually signed the contract and accepted the terms and agreement? Working in a company, we choose to go to work every day. We choose the type of task that we do. We choose how we handle such tasks. If we come into trouble, we probably got ourselves in trouble. So
Yeah.
pinili natin yan. So if you think about that, if you are stressed in challenging times, maybe we should also choose not to be stressed or to change our
Yeah,
environment so that we can escape ourselves in that
tama yan.
environment. Eh paano kunyari wala naman akong pera? Again, pinili mo na bumili sa Shopee, sa Lazada. Pinili mo na mangutang, pinili mo na hindi magbayad, pinili mo na makapasok sa isang utangan na mataas ang interest. SSS has 10% lang per year. Why are we choosing to go for a loan shark that charges us 10% per month? Eh ma'am, kasi wala akong choice eh. Again, before you were able to get the
Guys.
money, you had to sign the agreement. Pinili mo yan. Walang pumilit sa'yo. And as I said, do not blame yourself. True. But if you keep on if you keep on having problems, choose to not have problems by not choosing to make the right decisions to escape, to not always fall into a problematic state. Pinili mo yan. And again, choose better next time. All right?
Correct.
So yon. Be happy, choose better next time. Choose a better boss, choose better colleagues, choose better jobs, choose better husbands. Ang anak mo lang hindi mo ma-choose,
Eh,
tiisin mo na lang.
hindi no.
Rona.
Tama.
Okay, may nagtatanong po, is there a possibility that we can invite you to talk about leadership? Pag meron po bang mga gusto mag-invite sa'yo, Miss Kit, online na na mga talk daw, saan po ba kayo pa pwedeng makontak?
Pwede naman. My goodness. Reach out to me here or on LinkedIn. You can find me also there.
Ayan po. So
Mm-mm.
ako naman, duduktungan ko lang yung sinabi ni Mentor Tina. Sabi ni Mentor Tina, pinili mo yan. With things, we always have this option. We choose, we learn, whatever we choose, whatever we learn, we can unchoose and we can unlearn. Kasi yung iba, pinili ko to, okay, sige, magmumukmuk na lang ako dito. Guys, you have a lot of options. If it's not working for you, if it's already, if you're having mental health problems na talaga and you're no longer functioning, you have the option to get out of the situation. Wala po kasi akong susweldohin, wala akong pera, marami akong gastusin. Well, yun lang yung consequence. You have to be ready for those consequences. What's the best way to do that? Prepare way before pa lang, even yung wala ka pa doon sa time na kailangan mo mag-choose whether to stay or leave, dapat prepared ka na financially, meron ka ng ipon para pag dumating ka sa point na yon, you can make the decision easily. Or if talagang palaban tayo, even without ipon, hindi ko na kaya, my mental health is already being sacrificed, wala na talaga ako nakikita iba pang option, alis na. Okay? Walang pumipigil sa inyo. It's not, you're not a quitter if you do that. You have to do what's best for yourself. Never mind what other people have to say. Eh kasi po baka sabihin na ang bilis ko namang give up. Hindi nila alam kung yung pinagdaanan mo. Ikaw yung nandun. Do you want to be productive? If you want to be productive, then that might not be the proper situation for you. Baka pag nandun ka next day, mas pumangit pa ang work performance mo. So, di ba, kung hindi na talaga kaya, alis. You'll always have a lot of options. So, wag tayong basta dun lang sa, okay, kasi pinili ko to, tsatsagain ko. Hindi po yun ang message namin. Pinili mo yan, whatever you commit to, kailangan mong i-honor yung commitment mo. But if you can no longer make that same level of commitment, you also have the option to go out of that situation. Alis na dyan or find a way to improve that situation. You always have the option, my dear HR professionals. Okay? So ayan po, maraming salamat Miss Kit for sharing your experience with us, for sharing your thoughts on when it comes to effective leadership, especially during these challenging times. At syempre po, maraming salamat din po sa mga tumambay dito sa HR Cafe. Isang episode na naman po ang natapos natin. Naku, napakabilis po ng panahon. Episode 57 na tayo. Next week, isa na naman pong makabuluhang episode ang ibibigay namin sa inyo dito sa HR Cafe, Usapang Buhay, Trabaho at Iba Pa. We hope to see you next Sunday para sa ating susunod na topic, and we also hope that you stay safe and you have a very productive Sunday. Monday na bukas, kailangan na nating magpa-energize para pagpasok ng Monday, mataas ang ating energy levels. Okay, everyone?
Heroic minute, everyone, ah. Heroic minute.
Yes, heroic minute. Ayan, hindi man tayo frontliners na nasa ospital, frontliners pa din tayo ng ating organizations. So we need all of the energy na ibibigay sa atin ng universe, ng ating mga anak. Sa aking kaso, ng aming tuta, napaka-cute niya. Sa kanya ako humuhugot ng energy. Do that as well for yourself. Hugot ng energy para bukas po ay talaga naman po all in tayo kagad. The highest level ng ating energy po. Okay? Maraming salamat everyone and we hope to see you next Sunday. Bye everyone and thank you again.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, everyone. Bye-bye.